Chapter 76 Whoring Kuink for free. It's so annoying. Old man, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Kong Zhan finished. Instantly appeared in front of Madowuksu. It was so fast that no one saw it. He used his finger to swipe the wrist holding Kuink out of thin air. Shwa. A smooth cut appeared instantly. Blood spurted out suddenly. The white-gloved hand fell directly to the ground. Damn it. Wugzumado covered the wound. His eyes widened, as if something important had left his heart. He condensed in his heart, picked up his severed hand, and quickly stepped back. Then he bit off the white glove on his severed hand. Take the ring off with one hand. Looking at the ring, he was slightly stunned. Then put it in his pocket. This ring was his wedding ring, which was very important to him, and his wife died at the hands of a ghoul. This is also the reason why he hates ghouls. He feels that it is very hypocritical for ghouls to show off their mother-daughter love in front of him. But ghouls are ghouls. For them, not eating people is like people not eating. There is nothing they can do about it. But ghouls also have feelings. Mr. Mado. Seeing that Madowuksi's hand was broken, Armen Kotaro wanted to go over and help. But with Shu blocking him here, how could he possibly get by? Armen-kun, don't be distracted from fighting. Madowuksi looked at the man in front of him and shouted to Armen Kotaro. But Kotaro Armen was already distracted. She was slashed on the back. Shwa. The blood flowed. Kotaro Armen quickly called Seiyu. As for Kong Zhan, it's really ridiculous. Laying down your weapons for a ring. You have a family, and ghouls also have families. Aren't you doing such a thing the same as the ghoul who killed your wife? Kong Zhan said mockingly. You're investigating me? Ha 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 ha. Ghoul? Do guys like this really have feelings? Maybe they're just pretending. After all, even humans who look like them can do it. Won't you feel sick after eating it? What's the need for this kind of guy to exist? Madowuksi laughed, with a crazy look on his face. Then he threw his severed arm aside. No matter what, they guys have no value of living. It's really ridiculous. We must take revenge. These bastards. Human, you'd better not interfere. Facing the human being in front of him, Touksu actually didn't know what he was thinking, but he still spoke forcefully. Oh, I really don't want to do it. If you insist on this. Kong Zhan walked forward slowly, looked at Madowuksi in front of him, and whispered in his ear. I said, you don't want your daughter to have any problems, do you? I remember her name is Mato Akatsuki, right? You said. What if I torture her after she sleeps and then kill her? I've seen it before. He looks pretty good. Kong Zhan's tone was teasing. No. Impossible. There's nothing you can do to her. Wugzu's eyes widened again, and he suddenly felt extremely worried and frightened in his heart. He quickly took 2 steps back. He had originally been determined to die, but now he was shaken because of his daughter, and his heart suddenly felt suspended. Don't forget, I'm a human, not a ghoul. As long as I kill you, no one will know. If I really want to do something, you can't stop me, right? Kong Zhan smiled. Stand up. But to him, this smile was like a devil's smile. Arsehole. Madowuksi angrily scolded. But at this moment, he felt that he could not die here. It doesn't matter, I will kill you now and then go find her. Kong Zhan smiled even happier. Armen Kotaro. Let's go. Madowuksi shouted quickly. Okay, Armen Kotaro said because he was already injured. I also feel invincible. If he continues to fight, he will definitely be beaten to death. It's as if the opponent's physical strength can never be used up. Or rather. The physical strength recovery is much higher than the use. Kotaro Armen directly blocked Seiyu's blow with all his strength, knocked it back, and then ran in the direction of Madowuo. And Madowuksi didn't even want to pick up Kuink on the ground. He just wanted to go back and protect his daughter. His wife was already dead, and he didn't want his daughter to be hurt again. In this world, it is no longer as simple as ghouls killing people. Even humans are no longer safe for humans. Did I tell you to leave? The terrifying overlord's domineering energy suppressed the two of them, and the strong sense of oppression made them unable to move. It's like their body instinct is afraid of Kong Zhan. And Seiyu saw this. He placed the sword on Kotaro Armen's neck. Kong Zhan also regained his overbearing look at this time. Kanki Ken's eyes sparkled as he watched. As expected of the boss, he was really amazed at Kong Zhan's power. It's almost like a god. What do you want? Madowuksi was really about to explode. It gave me the desire to live, but now I won't let myself go. But if he falls here now, then his daughter? A bastard. Arsehole. Bastard. Exclamation mark. Madowuksi actually shed tears in his eyes. I couldn't protect my wife back then, so why can't I even protect my daughter now? I'm sorry. Daughter. It was your father who failed to protect you. For the first time, Madowuksi felt that he was such a failure as a father. He hates it. I hate myself for running away without seeing him. His mental state was completely revealed on his face. The sky is full of views. Why are you still crying? I didn't say I wouldn't let you go. Kong Zhan put one hand in his pocket and touched his chin with the other. He looked at the two of them. How are you going to let us go? At this moment, Wuximado had already broken one of his hands. Kuink also fell at Kong Zhan's feet. There is no fighting ability at all. It's not too demanding. The person who hurts me must leave something behind. I want the Kuink in his hand. Kong Zhan looked at Kotaro Yaman, who was standing aside. No. This is. Just as Armin Kotaro was about to say something, Seiyu's long sword had already cut through the skin on his neck. If you continue talking, your head will definitely be chopped off. Yes! But this is his girlfriend's relic. How come these guys are like robbers? Pain came from her neck, and Seiyu's sword penetrated a little more. Kotaro Armin wanted to move back a little, but Seiyu's sword was pressed tightly against his skin. If he was not careful, his hand would shake, and the aorta would explode and bleed out. It's numb. Okay, but you must let us go. Kotaro Armin looked serious. Okay, Jinmu, go take the Kuink from his hand. Kong Zhan nodded in agreement. Then he looked at Kanki Ken and signaled. No problem, boss. Kanki Ken nodded and walked to Kotaro Armin. He also thought that if the other party didn't hand it over, he would just bring it to you and snatch it away. But Kotaro Armin is also considered wise, and he is not brainless. Still handed the thing to Kanki Ken. Okay, let's go. Kong Zhan waved his hand. Seeing Kong Zhan's signal, she also put down the long sword. Kotaro Armin looked at the Kuink in Kanki Ken's hand, gritted his teeth, and wanted to snatch it back, but he still held back because the slight blood stain and pain on his neck told him that if he tried to rob it, he would most likely die. Chapter 77. Come to the coffee shop again. Kotaro Armin walked to Madogu's side, and then said, Mr. Mano, I'm sorry. It's nothing. I really encountered a hard problem this time. Madogu smiled bitterly. The wound on his arm had been wrapped in clothing. That's all. The two started chatting as they walked. Why on earth did that human help the ghoul this time? Kotaro Armin said in confusion. But he obviously asked the wrong person. Even Madogu couldn't understand this matter. Ghouls use humans as food. But as a human being, he seemed to regard ghouls as friends. And he also protected the ghoul. This kind of thing was unheard of. That man doesn't look like a human at all. He is at least stronger than SS-level ghouls. At this time, Madogu's face was full of seriousness. Because humans at this level are truly beyond the scope of humanity. Could it be a modified human being? Kotaro Armin asked after pondering. Not sure. Anyway, this matter must be reported clearly. Yaman-kun, I will leave it to you. I will probably write a 3,000-word report. Matowuxi smiled helplessly. After all, his right hand was disabled and he really couldn't write. Well, I understand, Mr. Manado. Please take a good rest during this period. Kotaro Armin also felt sad about this. After all, he had been carrying his senior, and now he was missing one hand, which was probably going to retire. Ha ha ha. I'm really getting old. It's time to retire. Matowuxi smiled. The two of them looked up at the sky. The rain seemed to have stopped gradually. The dark clouds in the sky gradually dispersed, and the light shone down. Ding. The mission has been completed. Group members Kong Zhan and Shu received 3,500 points. Whether to return to the world. Kong Zhan, number. Shay, then neither do I. Kong Zhan glanced at Seiyu. Good guy. You don't know what it means. You are a very opinionated person. Then he squatted down and picked up the scale Kuink on the ground. This belongs to your family, right? Sure enough, it's better to bury it or burn it. Kong Zhan walked forward and handed it to Liang Tsai. Thank you. Ryoko looked at the human in front of her, her face slightly red. It's because the smell of Kong Zhan's body is so tempting, especially when he's so close. It gave her a huge appetite. Hina is really cute. Kong Zhan smiled and narrowed his eyes. Then he touched Hinami's head. She was surprisingly not afraid of strangers, and her cheeks were rosy. Hello, big brother. Hinami took the initiative to say hello. My mood seems to be getting better. Then, Kong Zhan turned to look at Jin Muyan again and said, by the way, why don't you fight back? Logically speaking, even if you can't beat me, you can still fight back and forth, right? The same goes for Jin Muyan. He looked helpless. We are all human beings. I can't do anything. Boss, I'm sorry to disappoint you. I almost failed to protect them this time. Kong Zhan sighed. You kid, you still need to practice. It's probably because you haven't experienced the pain of 1007 that you have such an idea. Kong Zhan complained speechlessly. 1007? Isn't it 993? What's the pain? Kanki scratched his head, somewhat puzzled. Forget it if I don't know. By the way, don't you want to buy me a cup of coffee? Kong Zhan raised his eyebrows. Look at Kanki Ken. Drink. Boss, let's go. Kanki Ken spoke directly without hesitation. Shay, follow me. Otherwise you'll get lost. Kong Zhan smiled. Okay, Lord Kong Zhan. She trotted to Kong Zhan's side, and then looked at the tall buildings around her. She couldn't help but exclaimed, I just noticed now. The houses here are so high. Of course, the level of technology here should be higher than yours, but there are no dangerous plants or anything like that. So Taegyo no, Kong Zhan explained. After all, The tiger was forged by dangerous species, and neither of these, alas. There are no dangerous species? Wouldn't that be much safer? Shay said in surprise. Because the dangerous species are all powerful monsters. For ordinary people, they are basically either dead or disabled when encountering them. Dangerous species? Liang Tsai looked confused. She pulled in Nomai and followed closely, holding her husband's ring in her other hand. She planned to take it back first, burn it tomorrow, and then set up a monument. After all, if it were buried directly, there was no telling who would dig it up to block the use of weapons. Dangerous species are very powerful monsters. Some powerful ones are even tens of meters long. Kong Zhan explained to the two women behind him. Alas, is there such a powerful monster? Kanki Ken looked stunned. Obviously his life is a bit dull, so this kind of thing is so surprising. It is also because Kanki Ken still looks at the world with ordinary people's thoughts. But the world is not ordinary, and Kong Zhan said these things to expand their world view. Huh? Tens of meters? I don't think I've ever seen this kind of monster. Ryoko thought. Does such a thing really exist? It was as if a huge monster with teeth and claws appeared in her mind. Just thinking about it sends shivers down my spine. While chatting, while walking forward, unknowingly, we arrived at the antique coffee shop. Boss, we're here. Looking towards the familiar antique coffee shop, Jin Muyan reminded Kong Zhan behind him. Through the glass, I saw a few scattered people inside. Go in. Kong Zhan nodded. Then, the five of them walked towards the antique coffee shop on the second floor. Open the coffee shop door. Dingle bell. The bell on the door rang again. Kong Zhan just walked in. Not surprisingly, all the ghouls turned to him. The same goes for Kirishima Tuka. But what surprised her was that this human was not killed by Kamishiro Ryo. She felt very strange. Moreover, Kamishiro Ryo seems to have disappeared recently, and she always feels that there is something hidden in it, and it is related to this man. But she just thought about it in her heart. Thank you for today. Then let's go in first. I want to put away my husband's penis first. Ryoko held Hinami's hand. He smiled at Kong Zhan and the others. Okay, let's sit here with Jin Mu for a while. Kong Zhan nodded. Then the mother and daughter entered the employee rest area in the coffee shop. Kong Zhan took Shu to find a seat and sat down. Boss, there's Miss Seiyu. What kind of coffee do you want to drink? Kanki asked. Will you make it for us? Okay. Just like last time. American coffee with 2 sugars and 1 milk. Kong Zhan waved his hand casually. Coffee? Is it that bitter thing? Is there nothing else? Shay seemed to be resisting. Looks like I've tasted it before. Kong Zhan glanced at the menu on the table. Then juice. Beach juice? How about it? Kong Zhan looked at Shay and asked. Beach juice? Okay. Shay nodded quickly. It's better than the bitter stuff. Okay. Boss, wait for me. Chapter 78 Arrogance. Antique coffee shop. Bar counter. Kanki, I wanted to ask before. Who are they? Kirishima Tuka walked up to Kanki Ken, looked at Kong Zhan and Kong Zhan sitting next to them, and asked softly. Boss, he is a powerful person. Kanki Ken spoke with admiration. Kirishima Tuka wanted to ask something else, but was afraid that she would reveal her identity as a ghoul. After all, she always thought that Kanki didn't know that they were ghouls. And Jin Mu is almost done. Put the coffee and beach juice into the tray. He carefully carried it over. He walked to Kong Zhan's table and put the plate down. You guys have a drink and see. Boss, I'll add sugar and milk for you. Kanki said with a smile. Sit down too. Kong Zhan nodded and picked up the coffee cup. He took a small sip. It's not bad. It's just a little bit worse. It should be because the sugar hasn't melted. Kong Zhan said lightly. I stirred it with a coffee spoon I brought with me. Ha. Boss, maybe I'm a little anxious. Jin Muyan smiled awkwardly and explained. Because he didn't want Kong Zhan to wait too long. Seiyu also took the glass of peach juice and paired it with a straw. She held the straw in her mouth and sucked slightly. It made a sound of gulu gulu. The sweet peach flavor instantly filled her taste buds. It tastes good, Shu said with a surprised look on her face. To her, it tasted really good. That's good. Seeing that both of them were fine, Kanki Yan breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that I have made good technical progress in this area recently. Jinmu, I have to tell you something in advance. If someone comes to cause trouble in the future, fuck him for me. Don't show mercy. If you can't do it, call me. Kong Zhan looked slightly serious. Don't speak loudly. Only the 3 of them could hear it. Looking for trouble. Jin Muyan believed in Kong Zhan's words, but who would look for trouble in a coffee shop full of ghouls? Looking for trouble with a ghoul. Is he the kind of person just now? Kanki asked seriously. Naturally, he refers to him and Kotaro and Madoguo. Those who are more powerful than them. They are also ghouls. In short, if you can do it, do it. But if you can't do it, you can't shake others. Kong Zhan waved his hand casually and said directly. It's a ghoul again. Is it still stronger than the 2 people just now? Yeah, I understand. Kanki Ken nodded. He also wanted to rely on himself as much as possible, but he was really too weak. Before drinking the genetic enhancement potion, he was an ordinary person. If it weren't for that potion, I would probably be dead today. Although it is true that Kong Zhan will resurrect him, he still has to go through hell. Who is not afraid? Kong Zhan and Kanki Ken chatted for a while. As for Seiyu, she just kept chatting. After all, she and Kanki Ken had nothing to talk about. Soon, The coffee and peach juice were all finished, and the two left. In order to deceive others, Kong Zhan deliberately took Shu to a small alley before traveling through time. On the boat. Boy's bedroom. Kong Zhan can be considered as having traveled back through time. He walked out and they were supposed to be on their lunch break now. As a result, there was no one on the lawn outside the ship. Kong Zhan frowned. This was the case last time when Garp came to arrest someone. Could it be that some navy came here again today? Kong Zhan walked to the fence on the side and looked outside the boat. It turns out that they are all outside. Opposite them is a pirate! That's right. This area is a lawless zone. It's normal to have pirates. Hey, what on earth do you want to do? Actually fire cannons on our ship? Yamato frowned and looked at the people in front of him. That's right. Luckily Zero is here. He was able to defend himself in time. Otherwise, a big hole would have been blown out. How ugly that would have been. Yari looked at the group of pirates with an angry look on his face. Oh my, it's rare to see a ship with all girls. Is it a ship from the Kingdom of Women? No. It doesn't seem to be flying the pirate flag. That's really weird. Introduce yourself, sir. It's Roll Kukani of the White Bear Pirates, and he's also the captain of the White Bear Pirates. I don't know how you withstood the cannon just now, but if you leave all the treasures on the ship, we can spare your life. The speaker was a strong man nearly 2 meters tall, with a long scar on his eyebrow. He held a huge blade in his hand. Behind him were about 50 or 60 pirates, his younger brothers. Take out the treasure quickly. Our boss is a white bear with a bounty of 200 million. He is the strongest creature under Kaido. A strong bearded pirate yelled. The strongest under Kaido? Yamato looked confused. Zandu fake duo. This guy is only 2 meters long, right? My father is 7 meters tall. The one in front of me doesn't look very good. Are you afraid? Hurry up and hand over the treasure. Otherwise, you all look pretty good. If you capture and auction it, you might be able to exchange it for money. I just captured an old man to sell it this morning. A thin pirate with a mustache showed a sinister smile. That look startled Raftalia and she hid behind Mikasa. Mikasa touched her head to indicate that it was okay. Ugh, that's disgusting. Who wants to be sold by you? Yari said in disgust. Are you going to make friends with me or not? Aren't you really afraid that I will kill you? Kalkani yelled angrily. But they didn't care. Arya seemed to feel a gaze. Looking back slightly, his eyes were stunned. It was Kong Zhan who was back. I saw that he seemed to be saying something with his lips. 4 words. Arya's own lips murmured and imitated. Humphrey. So that's it? I understand, master. Arya grinned. He turned around and walked towards the pirates. The terrifying magic power was suddenly released, just like the sun. Hey, Arya, the captain isn't here yet. Yari reminded. No, the master is already here, and let me deal with them. Arya's body suddenly changed from a 14-year-old to an 18-year-old. And suddenly the huge thing seemed to break through her clothes. The t-shirt that could originally cover her entire body now only covered her upper body, and her body had also grown to 2 meters. But there are no muscles on the body, or the muscles are not particularly big, but they must be very refined. This is Arya. Everyone was a little confused. How could the little Arya become so big all of a sudden? This is what she looks like after using character ability. Sin of Pride is activated. Do you need us to help you, Arya? Yari asked. After all, he is a member of his own team. No need. These kind of ants, even if there are 10,000 more, this lady is more than enough for me. Arya's face was full of arrogance. Just stretch out your hand. A huge golden axe suddenly appeared in his hand. It was the artifact treater. Chapter 79. This is also part of the plan. I'll go. What's going on? Is this some kind of devil fruit ability? Seeing this scene, the bearded pirate was stunned. Captain, let's withdraw. Seeing that the situation was not good, Mustache immediately said to Kalkani. Bang! Kalkani punched him with his backhand. Knock him to the ground. I'm telling you, you're a coward. I'm a pirate with a bounty of 200 million, a giant bladed white bear. Kalkani angrily scolded his crew. He also carried a giant sword that was almost as tall as him. Drink. Suddenly, Kalkani gets angry on her hands. His whole body is covered with white hair, and his height has grown from 2 meters to 2.5 meters. Kong Zhan saw this scene not far away. Isn't this a polar bear? Hey, little girl, if you surrender now, I can let you go. Just take all the treasures off your ship. Kalkani looked down at Arya. Because even though Arya has grown bigger, she is still only 1.78 meters tall, which is still far behind Kalkani. But for some reason, her body made people feel a huge power. Oops, it's really funny. As a weakling, what strength do you have to compete with me? Arya slowly walked forward holding the giant axe artifact treater. Although she had to look up at Kalkani, her eyes were like looking at ants. Kalkani saw the look in her eyes and suddenly gritted his teeth. Then go to hell, shouted angrily. The giant sword in his hand was filled with armed domineering energy and he slashed directly at it. Wow! Arya's body was struck by it. But it's just a scratch on the skin. A few drops of blood flowed out. That's it? Then it's my turn, right? Arya raised her eyebrows teasingly. Swish, swish, swish. Suddenly, the hand lifts and the axe falls. Kalkani's body was cut into several pieces. Blood exploded from the body, monster, were Kalkani's last thoughts. The ship. The captain is dead. Run. Seeing Kalkani being killed, these pirates broke up in an instant and went their separate ways. It's obviously a pirate group with no cohesion. But there are also reasons why Aria's display of strength is too strong. Wow, Aria is actually so strong. Maginot looked surprised. Indeed, I didn't see it. Seko suddenly felt that he was a little too weak. And she is also Kong Zhan's girlfriend. It should also be worthy of the strength it deserves. At this moment, Aria also gradually took back this power. The body gradually becomes smaller, but the clothes were stretched out by him, exposing half of his shoulders. Bei's skin was exposed to the air. The considerate Yari quickly stepped forward and helped her straighten her clothes. He took out a pin, tightened the fabric at the back of Aria's dress, and pinned it on. That'll be fine. Yari smiled sweetly. Thank you. Thank you. During this time, Aria was quite polite. Then, she looked at Kong Zhan again. He smiled slightly. He just said kill them to Aria. It seems to be doing pretty well. Recently, in this environment, Aria's morbid mentality has gradually been restored. At least she will not torture her opponents to death. The so-called killing is not cruel to living things. All the girls also followed Aria's gaze. It is Kong Zhan. He smiled and waved. The girls also responded and walked towards the boat. Speaking of Mikasa, why does brother Kong Zhan keep disappearing? You seem to be hiding something for him every time? Yari approached Mikasa and asked curiously. Because when these pirates come, Mikasa said, let's stall for time first. Brother Kong Zhan has something to do. Recently, Kong Zhan disappeared inexplicably, and then appeared, bringing people with him. It was the same at sea before. It was all false to say that the suspicions were there, but everyone's trust in Kong Zhan and Mikasa meant they didn't say much. Ah, no, you are thinking too much. Mikasa waved her hands quickly. After all, if Kong Zhan didn't mean to talk about things like chat groups, she thought it would be better to hide them. This matter is quite important. Ah, okay then. Yari didn't care. After all, we are all on the same ship, so if you want to say it, you will definitely say it. After a while, several people arrived on the boat. Good job this time, Aria. Kong Zhan smiled and praised her. After all, rewards and punishments must be clearly defined. Of course. Aria laughed. It is rare for her to be praised by Kong Zhan. Let's talk about your allocation. If there are pirates next time, you will take turns to fight back. We need to train each of you's actual combat ability. If you don't come for more than 3 days, then you go find the pirates to fight. Everyone must open up, otherwise they won't be able to become stronger. Kong Zhan said seriously to the women. I understand. Don't worry, brother Kong Zhan. I will beat up these pirates. They all started talking. If you want to rest, take a rest and then start training. If you don't get stronger, you won't be able to go to many places. Kong Zhan said to them. Of course, he wasn't referring to this world, but another world. Many of the things he is doing now are to lay a solid foundation for the future. If he wants to become a god, he also needs to be powerful. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I could create a magical team in the future? The possibility of becoming the only god is even greater. It would be nearly 20 years before the main plot began. Before that, he had a lot to do, and can't do much. Now that it is still under his control, he is afraid that something unexpected will happen. Now build a good relationship with Li and Xiachi. In fact, it is also a small part of the later plan. As for what his final plan is, it can't be said yet. But the original plan was fine. First, the world's top combat power must at least have its own island, which can be regarded as settling in this world. The same is true for Kong Zhan's first goal. At the very least, he needs an island. This is also within his plan. He had already thought about the island he wanted. It was the island every man dreamed of. I won't say it, but I can guess it. As for how to do it, it's not difficult. Then just hang out on your own island and go to other worlds from time to time. Of course, this is also part of the plan. How long to go? It is the best solution for Kong Zhan to get out of this world first. It is also the happiest and optimal solution for a man. But while enjoying being bad, you must not forget that you need to become stronger. Because he still doesn't know the real enemy in the future. Even though it's just a pirate world now, who can be sure in the future? Maybe it's a god countless times more powerful than he is now. If you encounter someone, not only will you feel the pain, but also everyone around you will feel the pain. And it is estimated that all of them will feel the pain together with their souls. As the saying goes, quack quack, one quake is oneself, the second quake is friends, the third quake is soul. Quack, there is no reincarnation. The battle between gods is like this. It's not you, it's me. Chapter 80 Explore Life. Night. Xiaozi sneaked into Kong Zhan's room. After all, she also misses Kong Zhan a little and doesn't have much time to communicate. Zazie, have you been comfortable sleeping in the girls' bedroom recently? Kong Zhan asked, looking at Xiaozi, who got into his bed as soon as he came in. After sleeping with him, Seko really disappeared. He hugged his arms directly, as if they were glued to his body. But it is indeed quite happy. The girls' bedroom is pretty good. They are also very nice to me. As she said that, Seko remembered what Yari asked him and Kong Zhan every day, and asked them all the questions. His face turned red. I didn't talk about the matter of getting under Kong Zhan's bed. But Maginot is really kind, taking care of her in every possible way, and also able to smooth things over. There are some similarities with herself, but only partially. Yamato is a bit careless, but he is nice to people, sincere and straightforward. I heard that Yamato's father is a emperor. The Emperor of the Sea, which is really powerful. Mikasa doesn't talk much, but when she mentions Kong Zhan, he came over to compliment him, as if he had a special bond with Kong Zhan. Robin usually reads books all the time, and she knows a lot. Apart from Xiaoling and Kong Zhan, she should be the most knowledgeable person on the ship, right? Raftalia arrived a little later than him, and she seemed to be a demi-human raccoon species. This kind of fantasy existence. She is timid, but so cute. Sure enough, this is the so-called group pet. Rise is the same age as her, 18 years old, but she heard that he is a ghoul and can only eat people. They were a little nervous at first, but I heard that they were restrained by the chain around their necks, and Kong Zhan had given them orders, so they never ate anything and only drank coffee, so their condition was in bad shape some time ago. But her condition seems to have improved a lot recently. And it seems that Rishi and Raftalia are both slaves, in addition to Arya. I heard that he is a psychopath, but now it seems that he is not much different from a normal person. He will get extremely excited after seeing some horrific and strange experiments in books in the library. Normally, he is no different from ordinary people. And she is the only girl who has shown her strength after Seko came over. She is obviously just a slave, but she can kill a pirate with a bounty of 200 million by herself, and she can kill it instantly. Then the other crew members, aren't they even more powerful? In this case, she is too weak. There is nothing she can do to help Kong Zhan. She was leaning on Kong Zhan's shoulder, wearing purple pajamas that matched her hair color. Beauty is like flowers blooming. If I were to say what flower it resembles, it would be wisteria. Her infatuated love is just like the flower language of purple wisteria. She looked at Kong Zhan and asked softly, Kong Zhan, by the way, do you think I'm too weak? Can't help you. There was a hint of loss in her tone. In that world, although he is a kendo champion, but here, she is not even a swordsman. This sense of gap made her original self-confidence disappear a little. No, why do you think so? Kong Zhan touched her cheek. His tone was nonchalant, but compared to them, I'm much weaker. I just met that kind of pirate. If I went up to fight him, I would definitely not be able to defeat him. But Arya, who is younger than me, can. I beat him easily. Isn't this why I'm too weak? Seko lowered his head in despair. See her remorse. Kong Zhan also started thinking, and then said, that's it. Indeed. After all, the systems of this world and that world are different. Actually, I can protect you. You are my girlfriend. Kong Zhan gently rubbed her head. In fact, I am not reduced to the protection of girls. I am just too lazy to do it. The most important thing is to let them practice their domineering power and protect themselves. It is also convenient to give them some tricks and clear out the monsters. But so far, it seems that these little guys are quite well behaved. How is that possible? Kong Zhan, as your woman, if she is so useless, how can she be worthy of you? Xizhi looked at Kong Zhan seriously, and when he saw the firm look in his eyes, he felt slightly touched in his heart. Would this kind of girl really exist in a previous life? Past. He is also a good young man, and his grades are among the best in his class, but he became depressed after meeting a scumbag one time. After I graduated from school, I only worked for a year. From then on, I became a NEET and never wanted to go out again. Living in the two-dimensional world every day, this world alone is his spiritual support. It is precisely because of these vivid characters that Kong Zhan resonates with him countless times. For some reason, what happened to Seko resonated with Kong Zhan. He was such a perfect person at first, but he felt inferior because of the killing in his heart. Zazie, actually you have helped me a lot. Kong Zhan narrowed his eyes and showed a bright smile. In the past, no matter when Seko was fighting outside, when she was virtuous at home, and all kinds of things, Kong Zhan felt extremely perfect, and she was considered the lover of his dreams. And that feeling of inferiority due to killing. Just like a person who is infinitely close to perfection, but with a hint of imperfection, this feeling makes him feel more real. So what's wrong with this little fly in the ointment? How could it be? It's obviously you who helped me. You have always been a very reliable man. In comparison, what do I do? Your strength really makes me far away. Out of reach. Seko snuggled into Kong Zhan's arms, listening to the slow and powerful heartbeat. She felt very happy that such a powerful man was actually her boyfriend, but she was also afraid that she could not be his woman. The difference in strength between the two is too big. If Kong Zhan encounters a powerful enemy, she can only hold him back. Zazie, stop praising me, you'll make me proud. If you keep praising me, I'll be conceited. Kong Zhan pinched her nose and said softly. But that's what it is. Forget it. In short, I will fully support you. Although I can't do anything big, I have been studying domineering very seriously recently. There are always one day, I can help you. The two of them became serious, as if they had become strong women again. She put her legs on Kong Zhan's body, as if she felt something. Kong Zhan, you need help. Xiang's face turned red shyly, then she stood up and wrapped her legs around Kong Zhan's waist, holding Kong Zhan's cheeks with both hands. The two looked at each other. Looking at Seko's appearance, Kong Zhan was a little dazed. Then, Seko kissed him directly. Two snakes intertwined. Tonight, please accept my first time. I sleep all night, but today, I stay up all night. Two snakes come out of their holes, male and female fight, panting constantly, fight until sunrise. I felt a little tired before I fell asleep. Chapter 81 Blood Relative System. Under the slightly hot sunlight, clothes were scattered around the room. Kong Zhan opened his eyes. Looking at the pregnant Seko, he showed a sense of satisfaction. Then, Kong Zhan waved slightly at the blue curtains. The curtains closed with a sudden swish. As if feeling Kong Zhan's movements, Seko slowly opened his eyes. First glance, then she saw Kong Zhan staring at her. Seko's face turned slightly red. Kong Zhan. Are you awake? Xizi's body is still a little sore. He just collapsed in Kong Zhan's arms. Just woke up. Kong Zhan smiled at her and rubbed her cheek. It hurts. Not gentle at all. Xiangzi looked aggrieved, but then she grabbed Kong Zhan's tail out of curiosity. By the way, Kong Zhan, aren't you human? You actually have a tail. I didn't see it last time because the light was too dark. Seko curiously grabbed Kong Zhan's tail, which was swaying behind his back. It was fluffy. Saiyans should be considered humans. Kong Zhan touched his chin and thought. Hiss. Seko was about to sit up again. I felt a burst of pain. Hey, there's really nothing I can do about you. Come on, open your mouth, Kong Zhan said with a gentle look on his face. Seko opened her mouth obediently. And Kong Zhan, bite your finger directly. Blood flowed out. Say nothing. He put his finger in Seko's mouth. The taste of blood filled Seko's mouth. But it is not as unpalatable as the splash of blood. The taste is 1 part fishy, 1 part sweet, 4 parts salty, and 4 parts umami. The taste is hard to describe, but not unpleasant to drink. It's even a little tasty. Suddenly, her eyes were slightly stunned because she felt that her body seemed to be sublimated. All injuries throughout his body recovered quickly. Ding! 3 humans have drank the blood of the host. Do you want to activate the subsystem, the blood relationship system? The system prompted. Blood relative system? Interesting. Turn on. Kong Zhan thought silently in his heart. The system has been turned on. The subconscious will be unable to disobey the Blood Lord's orders, maintain unconditional faith in the Blood Lord, and will not suffer from diseases after death. The system can be used to spend points to resurrect. The contract has been successful. The host can start from the group chat, choose any ability in the points mall that is less than or equal to 3,000 points and give it to a blood relative. The system replied again. Not bad. It's a bit similar to the slave system. Check the panel. Kong Zhan had just finished the words. He muttered silently. The panel appeared in his mind. Blood relative system. Blood relative number 1, Butterfly Ninja. Expand. You can freely grant an ability, bloodline, etc. with an original price of less than or equal to 3,000 points in the points damage city. Blood relative number 2, Sayatakagi. Expand. You can freely grant it in the points damage city. The city can freely grant an ability, bloodline, etc. whose original price is less than or equal to 3,000 points. Blood relative number 3, Buzujima Seko. Expand. The city can freely grant an ability, bloodline, etc. whose original price is less than or equal to 3,000 points. 3,000 points? That's pretty good. 1,500 points is the level of Sin of Pride, although it's mainly useful during the day. The disadvantages are still huge. Kong Zhan thought. Then, he looked at Seko and took his hand back. How are you? Are you recovering? Kong Zhan chuckled. And Seko pulled back the sheets and checked. The torn area has indeed healed. That's amazing. Then he stood up and took 2 steps. As expected of Kong Zhan. I can do anything. Seko felt that not only did her body feel no pain, but it was also very powerful, even worse than before. And there is a vague connection with Kong Zhan. Much to her surprise. No. Who am I? Let me give you another ability. Kong Zhan showed a thoughtful expression. Huh? Given ability? Seko was a little confused, and Kong Zhan was still rummaging in the points mall. He was also thinking about what abilities would be good for Seko. This is not bad. Kong Zhan raised his eyebrows. Introduction to System Remodeled Edition Ryuken Wakaru. After system transformation, you can release all its power at will. After the initial solution, the flame inside is as powerful as the surface temperature of the sun, about 6,000 degrees Celsius. After the swastika is dissolved, the flame will be about as powerful as the core temperature of the sun, about 20 million degrees Celsius. The terrifying flame is enough to burn all the body and soul, and the user's physique will increase simultaneously with the temperature of the flame. After purchase, it will be automatically bound to the user, and the usage method will be instilled in the user. Price, 3,000 points. After a slight price hike, Kong Zhan chose this one. After all, this system remodeled version of Ryuken Yuohuo is really strong. At full power, it is as strong as the sun, and it can be used at any time, day or night. There is also the remaining fire sword of the swastika, which increases the physical fitness with the temperature of the flame. Overall, it can be said to be quite good. Then, Seko felt as if she was bound to something. A lot of information flooded her mind. This is flowing blade like fire, system remodeling. It's amazing. The temperature of the sun, Seko couldn't help but exclaimed as he kept chewing the information in his mind. After all, this kind of thing was completely beyond her cognition. It is simply too powerful. In this case, I can also help. Seko felt this powerful force and laughed. Then he fell directly on Kong Zhan, hugged him tightly. With this power, he can finally help Kong Zhan. By the way, where did this power come from? She suddenly thought so. But she didn't ask because she always felt it. Both Kong Zhan and Kong Zhan are mysterious and powerful men, and it is normal to have some secrets. You excited again? Do you want to continue? Xiang Tsai looked at Kong Zhan and asked, because she felt some indescribable touches. Really, I think you did it on purpose. If you keep doing this, you won't be able to get out of this door for a day. Okay, let's get dressed and go out. They are probably training already. You should go quickly. Sora. Zhan's eyes twitched. Then I got up and started getting dressed. My husband has physical needs, so of course I have to take the initiative. But forget it if my husband doesn't like it. Seko chuckled. You are becoming more and more invisible, although it makes sense. Isn't that right? Why are you meeting your husband outside? She smiled even more happily. He also put on clothes. You go take a bath first, and then go practice domineering with them. It's best to kill some pirates and accumulate practical experience. Kong Zhan put on his clothes and looked at her. I understand. Seko looked particularly happy today. Soon she was dressed too. Well, she hugged Kong Zhan and kissed him deeply. He quickly trotted out. My wife, you are becoming more and more proactive. Kong Zhan curled his lips slightly. The mood is also very good. Chapter 82 Chatting. After Seko came out of the bathroom, Kong Zhan went in. The bathroom was filled with mist. It also has a light fragrance like flowers. Before Seko left the bathroom, she thoughtfully helped Kong Zhan put away the water. He soaked happily in the bathtub. The hot water temperature was just right for him. Then, as always, I opened the group chat during my leisure time. Group chat. Kong Zhan. Good morning, everyone. Bushima Seko : morning. Kong Zhan. As expected of you, Seko. Kong Zhan's eyes twitched. Is Seko so positive? I remember that Seko's training partners should be Rise and Yamato. It's so relaxing. Butterfly Ninja. Morning, brother Kong Zhan. Although it's already noon. Sire Dakagi. Good morning, boss. You have lived up to your trust and have taken over the Dakagi family. Just like what you said before. Sire Dakagi, I have driven out all those useless people, and now there are only some people left who are willing to stay and fight, so the food will be much better. Sire Dakagi, in the past 2 days, I plan to go to Rei's family with some people who are willing to fight. Kong Zhan, that's great. Kong Zhan, the end of the world is a threat but also an opportunity. Shay, you have to create a new force by yourself. To this extent, I am satisfied with it. Dakagi sire, keep it with me. It will surely satisfy you. Gao Cheng's family. Sire, who was sitting as the head of the family, curled her lips slightly. Boss, I will let you see my results, she murmured. Then he looked at the map on the table again. She was currently thinking about the route she would take for this operation. Kong Zhan, oh, by the way, do you need help with those points to recommend what to sell? Shay, what to buy? In fact, Master Kong Zhan, if you want it, I'll give it to you. I don't really need it. Kong Zhan, am I such a points-hungry person? Although upgrading the Law of Destruction requires 50,000 points, we can't grab all the points from the group members. Kong Zhan, Shay, if you want, you can buy Breath of the Sun plus Transparent World plus a Sun Blade to play with, and the special effects will be maxed out directly. Shay, special effects? Although I didn't understand it, I was shocked. Shay, then I'll buy it. Shay was also very obedient and went to buy it directly. After all, her 3,500 points were enough to buy these. Next to Chitong, Shay also quickly purchased it. How's it going? What skills does brother Kong Zhan recommend? Chitong asked curiously. He also held a big chicken drumstick in his hand. It's amazing. This way of breathing. Shu felt impressed. Then a sun blade suddenly appeared in her hand. After all, this breathing method is undoubtedly the best choice when paired with a niche iron sword. Immediately afterwards, Seiyu started to wave. Flames burned on the niche iron sword. In Breath of the Sun, Shay understood He Dao. The Breath of the Sun. One shape, round dance. The second type is the blue sky. 3 shapes, scorching sun red mirror. Shizen shapes. After one set, Shu felt very happy. She breathed. Awesome. Kai Tong took a bite of the chicken leg and praised. As expected, the boss's recommendation. Shu sighed. And at this moment, Chitong tore off the other chicken leg from the roasted chicken next to it. Throw it to Seiyu. Shay also caught the chicken leg out of habit and took a bite. The cooperation between the two is simply flawless. Shay, thank you, Mr. Kong Zhan. I love this Breath of the Sun. Kong Zhan, it's nothing. That's not the case. After all, he is the originator of breathing techniques. If you don't like it, you probably won't like any of the breathing techniques. Kong Zhan thought secretly in his heart. Ding. Group member Hinata was bullied by a child and asked group members for help. Task difficulty, super low level. Task reward, 300 points. Number of people limited, 1 person. Which member accepts the task? Kong Zhan, at Butterfly Inn. Go quickly, I'm taking a bath. Butterfly Ninja, Brother Kong Zhan, that's what you mean? Give it to me, Butterfly Ninja. These little brats are so naughty. Butterfly Ninja, I accept the mission. Konoha Village. Hinata sneaked out again, and as expected she was bullied by a group of people. She just accidentally met a boy who was a few years older than her. He was immediately grabbed and thrown to the ground. Isn't this a white-eyed monster? It's so ugly. You just bumped into us. Please say sorry. Several children pointed at Hinata and spoke. Yes, I'm sorry. Hinata was about to cry. Butterfly Ninja suddenly appeared in front of him. That's too bad. A few such big boys bully a little girl. Ren looked at the crowd angrily. The three children were immediately frightened by Shinobu's eyes and did not dare to move. Who are you? Why are you protecting her? One of the boys said immediately. Huh? Do you need any more reason to protect a 3-year-old child? Shinobu stood up. He looked at them with an angry look on his face. The look in his eyes seemed to be saying, if you want to touch her, get through me first. Let's go. I was helpless because the Butterfly Ninja's aura is too strong. I really dare not go up to them because of the pressure. So these little kids turned around and left. After all, they were just kids. He ran away in fright. Otherwise, Shinobu really wanted to go up and hit them twice. But after all, it was someone else's territory, and she had a certain estimate that she wouldn't be like Kong Zhan, who didn't attack lightly or hard, and just knocked them away so far. The person who bullied Hinata before is probably still lying in the hospital. Sister Hinata is really cute. Butterfly Ninja looked at Hinata's appearance. Really good. And because of the blood of Kong Zhan that Ren drank, Kong Zhan could share the field of vision with Ren, and he saw all of this. Although he doesn't look at it all the time, he only looks at it occasionally. After all, sometimes it is thought-provoking to see something that is infinitely beautiful. Seeing that the matter was settled, Kong Zhan didn't care anymore. Then opened his own system information. Main system, mission system, subsystem, group chat system, subsystem, slave system, subsystem, blood relative system. I already have 4 systems, and I don't know if anything will happen if I add more of them. Put together 7 systems to summon the dragon? Some type of? No matter how you think about it, it's impossible. Even if it can really be summoned, the person who comes must be the creator of the system. Kong Zhan was flooded with thoughts at the moment, and his mind was flooded with thoughts. Although he is very comfortable now, he is worried about the future, but he is also really lazy. What happens next can only be discussed later. Kong Zhan yawned and asked the main system, how many systems do you have? Chapter 83 Dimensionality Reduction Strike. Can't say. I can only tell the host that this system is the most advanced product of the God-making series. I can't comment on the rest. The host needs to explore on his own. Came the cold female voice of the system. Such an answer made Kong Zhan curse a little. Isn't this basically the same as not saying anything? God-making series? Are there many such systems? Kong Zhan felt very baffled, but the system seemed to sense what Kong Zhan was thinking. Please rest assured that this system is unique. It is the product of countless experiments. The voice of the system came again. This means that there is no other system. But why is it called a God-making series? Kong Zhan was very puzzled. He sighed helplessly. The country of Wano. Ghost Island. Mr. Kaido, the latest wanted order is out. Anam-sama is here too. A pirate rushed over with a newspaper and a wanted order. What? Arsehole. Kaido immediately grabbed the newspaper and the wanted poster. Why did my son run away to the East China Sea in just a few days? Windmill Village encountered. Gup. Can he actually escape from Gup? Flying ships. Cannibals the Ghoul. Ahara's remnant Nico Robin. That kid actually collected so many crew members after not seeing each other for a few days. Also. How did this weird ship appear? 100 and 300 million. 10 million. A nice elemental ability similar to Kyuzin. I don't remember what fruit I gave him. Go ask Jin to take someone to look for it near Windmill Village. Kaido looked to the side. The pirate asked. I understand, Mr. Kaido. After saying that, the pirate immediately went out. Planned to give Kaido's orders to Jin. Office of the Admiral. Gup. The reward order has been issued. That guy really has the strength to escape from you? The current Marshal Cyborg Kong looked at Garp seriously, and Garp hit the sandbag gruntingly. Ha. It did escape from my hands. His ship flew too fast. It was really powerful. But because many of their members did not fight, I don't know what their specific abilities are. I only know that a girl named Yamato uses ice, and the other girl named Yari probably uses fire. I felt her sword energy was very hot at the time, and the 2 of them used fire. He looks like he is only 7 or 8 years old. The current juniors are really amazing, and their captain, named Kong Zhan, although he kidnapped the child named Makino, I think. His expression at that time should be, it's not that simple. As he spoke, Garp stopped the senpai in his hand and recalled. He noticed that Kong Zhan originally wanted to fight him, scolded the Tianlong people at the same time, and looked very confident. But as soon as Maginot appeared, a smile that was difficult to spot appeared on his lips. It seemed that at that moment, he was no longer interested in fighting them, and instead abducted Maginot first. This is really incredible. Although it is normal for normal people to kidnap someone as a hostage and escape, if the opponent is a strong man, He will never give up easily after making up his mind to fight. There is nothing more important than a hearty battle between men on the sea. And it's still the fight that we were originally determined to fight. So this puzzled Garp, and if Kong Zhan knew, definitely say, there are countless battles, and there is only one chance to abduct Maginot. Don't let me do it. I won't kidnap you. Where did I get the mission reward? Where did the girl come from? That's it. This pirate group seems to have appeared out of thin air. There are too many unknown things. Except for the identity of Ahara's remnant Nico Robin, the rest of the identities have not yet been investigated. And there is no news at all. Cyborg Kong covered his head, feeling very troubled. As the saying goes, know yourself and the enemy and you will be victorious in every battle. But now I almost don't know how to win. Anyway, let's continue investigating their identities. Cyborg Kong thought for a moment and then continued. Kong Zhan stretched slightly. Change your clothes. Went out. As soon as I stepped outside, the dazzling sunlight came down. It's so bright. I always feel that the sun today looks like an eye. Is it an illusion? Kong Zhan felt the dazzling light. He narrowed his eyes unconsciously. Then, he didn't care and looked at the girls who were practicing. I really feel like an old father taking care of a group of children. Kong Zhan murmured to himself. He chuckled unconsciously. Suddenly, it was like a cool breeze blowing through, sending a chill down my spine. For some reason, he felt an unspeakable sense of oppression in his heart. I always feel like someone is watching me. Note, the following is foreshadowing. You can ship it! It's estimated that there will be hundreds of chapters before they appear, so if you don't like reading it, you don't have to read it! This is also an area that the male protagonist can only touch when he reaches a certain level. You can think about how the male protagonist defeats enemies with such a huge gap. Outside the dimension, the palace named Lasasu. It was a young man with short black hair sitting on the throne. He was wearing light cloth and was playing with an object that looked like a crystal ball in his hand. Next to him, stood a girl who looked about 15 years old, small and cute, with long black hair. But the actual age is not clear. What do you think after observing this simulated dimension? The man chuckled. His eyes never moved away from the crystal ball in his hand. Brother, this guy named Kong Zhan, can he really become the dimensional god of the simulated dimension? You look so lazy. A girl named Laya on the side looked at the image in the crystal ball, frowned slightly. Isn't laziness the nature of living things? Your brother and I are also lazy, and we have still come this far. The man looked at the girl. His eyes looked like you're wrong. TSK, that's true. I really don't know how you became so strong. It's obvious. Laya covered her head. His expression was full of confusion. By the way, his system was created by you. If he can't become a god, it's also your problem, right? The man ignored the girl named Laya. It looks like it has nothing to do with him. Brother, I didn't teach you to play like this. You provided the materials. You are also jointly and severally responsible. She looked at the man angrily, but she didn't expect that this unkind brother would put the responsibility on herself. The man ignored the noisy girl next to him and continued to look at the crystal ball. Suddenly, his eyes widened slightly. Turn around. Is it because he has obtained the power of law? The man looked at the people in the crystal ball, as if he had noticed his observation, and frowned slightly. It seems that we need to change to a higher dimensional observation ball, the man said and shook it slightly. The crystal ball in his hand was crushed into powder. He stood up from the throne and walked outside. La, who was behind him, followed immediately. Brother, where are you going? She asked. La, have you been stupid for 300 years after being pregnant? Didn't you see that the low-level observation ball is broken? Simulate the core observation area of the dimension and get a higher-level observation ball, he said, and rolled his eyes at Laya beside him. Oh, didn't you crush it yourself? Wait. No. Who are you calling stupid for being pregnant for 300 years? Brother, you big fool, Laya said and grabbed her. The man's arm was chewed on. All right. It didn't work at all. Okay, I won't tease you anymore. He chuckled. He held the girl named Laya in his arms. Let's go. Don't be angry. I'll take you to the lower level to eat some delicious food later. He coaxed the girl with a gentle voice. That's pretty much it. The girl showed an arrogant look. Everything that happens here is a dimensionality reduction blow to Kong Zhan. Can he break through the dimensional constraints? Successfully upgraded the dimension? Everything is hard to tell. Chapter 84. Layout Kong Zhan from the library was lying on the bench, chatting in the group chat. Sure enough, even in the world of pirates, he has not lost his otaku demeanor. Otaku, this is pure breed. Group chat. Izumi Shinichi. I almost died. Fortunately, Xia saved me. Izumi Shinichi, it's exactly what the group leader said. If Xia is not here, I will die. Kanki-ken, what's going on? Kanki-ken was a little curious. Could it be that he had encountered a similar experience to himself? Izumi Shinichi, picture, the corpse of a parasitic beast that parasitized humans. Kanki-ken, how disgusting. Miyano Shiho, interesting. Parasites. Otherwise, give this to me and I will study it. I can be considered a scientist. Miyano Shiho looked at the picture and was quite interested. After all, He was idle, so he might as well study it. Izumi Shinichi OK. Izumi Shinichi did not hesitate. After all, it would be best if someone could help find out the reason. Izumi Shinichi, Miyano Shiho's exclusive red envelope. Miyano Shiho has received the red envelope. Kong Zhan, by the way, Izumi Shinichi. Please help me find someone. Izumi Shinichi, group leader, please tell me. Kazin, Kaneki Mijima. She has a special power of perception that can detect the approach of parasitic organisms. I can only say that she is very easy. Izumi Shinichi, then this kind of person is too dangerous. Kong Zhan, although it can be turned into a life-saving tool if used well, this guy is a bit of a waste, and it really feels bad to let her die like this. After all, she is obviously a beautiful girl. I will get a boat for her when I get the chance, so that we can have another big sister on the pirate ship. Although she is not even 18 years old, after a few years, it won't be a big problem. Izumi Shinichi, that's it. I'll try my best to protect her. Kong Zhan, if there are any enemies that are difficult to defeat, you can tell me. Izumi Shinichi, I understand. The group leader. Kong Zhan sighed softly. There are still several months before my next step. The main plot of many worlds in the group will be completed. Very troublesome. Speaking of this time, Kong Zhan thought for a moment, and then seemed to suddenly think of something. Kong Zhan, at Shoyu, please help me find these 3 girls. Kong Zhan, picture. These 3 girls were miserable. They were played to death by the nobles, and they were even treated as the nobles' dogs. Vent playthings. In the original novel, all 3 of them died. The last girl who died had to fight hard to find night trade and kill the noble. They were obviously 3 kawaii girls. Why did such a tragic thing need to happen again in front of his eyes? Kong Zhan gets annoyed just thinking about it. Red eyes, got it. Brother Kong Zhan, Shay, got it. Master Kong Zhan. Kong Zhan, also, Estheeth should have returned to the imperial capital recently, right? Red eyes, that's right. As expected of Brother Kong Zhan. Kong Zhan also nodded slightly. It seemed that his timeline calculation was correct. Kong Zhan, if my guess is correct, the former minister Qiao Li was going back to the imperial capital, but was killed by 3 beast warriors on the way. If possible, it would be good for you to include his daughter Shibuya in the night attack. Kong Zhan, moreover, this former minister Qiao Li has a good knowledge of politics, otherwise he would not return to the imperial capital in this situation. He is a very noble minister. If the current minister were replaced by him, the imperial capital would not be reduced to this at all. Kong Zhan, he was also worried about the country and the people, so he returned to the imperial capital, which was like a poisonous snake's nest. Shay, please rest assured, Master Kong Zhan. Shay, we will solve this matter. Red eyes, if the information is true, I can apply to the boss for a full night attack. After all, just the 2 of us may not be enough. Kong Zhan OK, I leave it to you. After the 2 agreed, Kong Zhan felt slightly relieved. Start thinking about whether there is anything else. And not for a while. Robin walked in. He also held 2 cups of coffee in his hand. Kong Zhan turned his head to look at the time and sat up. It's so fast. It's already noon. Brother Kong Zhan, 2 packets of sugar and 1 packet of milk, right? Robin smiled. Then he handed the coffee cup to Kong Zhan. Yes, I remember it very clearly. Thanks, Robin-chan. Kong Zhan also smiled at each other and took the coffee cup. Take a little sip. The technique is pretty good. Kong Zhan nodded and said, a true coffee lover. Thank you for the compliment. Robin took a book from the bookshelf and sat next to Kong Zhan. Then he stopped talking and started looking seriously. How can you be so mature at such a young age? Kong Zhan looked at his points and saw that he already had 7,000 points. Let's buy something first. First, strengthen all 3 colors of your haki to the top level. Good guy. 300 points? Original price is 3,000 points. It's quite cool to be the leader of the group. A discount is great. Long live the system. Things that basically don't touch God are pretty cheap. Kong Zhan turned over it again. Suddenly his eyes widened, feeling very shocked. No, this is also the case. Something called a simulated universe. Introduction. You can create a universe of your own. After purchase, this universe will exist in the body of the purchaser. The world in the simulated universe is created at will by the purchaser, and so are the creatures. However, each creature will have its own consciousness and can control or subconsciously change its thoughts. However, buyers must understand that each creature is an independent individual and will act according to its own thoughts. The purchaser will have the highest authority over the simulated universe. Price, after 10% discount. 10,000 points. It's outrageous. Even I can't afford it. Looking at this introduction, Kong Zhan did feel that it was a bit exaggerated. But if I go to other worlds in the future, I can buy one of these and take them directly with me. But this kind of thing is too long ago. In the past, when I read novels, I envied them, those who cultivated immortality and gods, for having their own world. Kong Zhan stretched loosely. Turning to look at Robin, he asked, Robin, do you want to go fishing? Robin didn't care. He nodded lightly. Okay. After the words fell, Robin hugged the book to his chest, and Kong Zhan also walked out. Robin followed. But After fishing, the one on the left side of Kong Zhan is Robin. I never expected that she would actually fish like this. Using the power of Huawei fruit, an arm grew from the ground and held the fishing rod, and she herself was sitting on a stool reading a book. Hello. What a perfunctory way to fish. On the right are three little fish, Yamato, Yuri and Mikasa. Oh, it's moving. Look at me. Yamato suddenly felt the fishing rod shaking slightly. Unexpectedly, he was pulled up directly. The result, PFFT. What a small fish. Yuri covered her mouth and couldn't help laughing. It's a small fish. The dark little Robin didn't forget to hit the target while reading. Damn it. Yamato took the fish down directly. Throw it away hard. It was thrown into the sea with a plop. Chapter 85 Seeking Benefits for Group Members. After a day of thinking, Kong Zhan felt that the strength of the group members was a bit too low. I wanted to increase the strength of the group members so that they would not be easily confused, so I sent a red envelope in the group. After all, he has 500 points every day, so he has to give some benefits to the group members. He is not an unscrupulous leader. Group chat. Song Zhan, points for lucky red envelope, contains 4,000 points. Dakagi Saya has received the red envelope. Butterfly Ninja has received the red envelope. Bujima Seko has received the red envelope. Iwatan Inofumi has received the red envelope. Kanki Ken has received the red envelope. Kanki Ken, the boss is mighty, grabbed 400 points. No Fumi Iwatani, the leader of the group is so proud, grabbed 300 points. Butterfly Ninja, thank you brother Kong Zhan for the gift, grabbed 200 points. Gotching Saya, thank you for your support, boss! Exclamation mark. Grabbed 500 points. It was a compliment. Kong Zhan, we've given you benefits. Use them all to strengthen your own strength. Kanki Ken, the leader of the group is well organized. No Fumi Iwatani, then let me give something to the boss too. No Fumi Iwatani, Kong Zhan's exclusive red envelope. Kong Zhan has received the red envelope. Then, Kong Zhan took the things out. It's actually an egg. Wait. It looks familiar. Suddenly Kong Zhan's eyes were slightly shocked. Is this the egg of Philo Bird? And next, Iwatani no Fumi also confirmed his thoughts. No Fumi Iwatani, this is the egg I bought from the slave merchant. It seems to be a monster egg called Philo Bird. I gave it to the boss. Kong Zhan: thank you, brother. This is not a gift for me, but a girl. The people nearby also noticed the egg in Kong Zhan's hand and were a little curious. Brother Kong Zhan, what kind of egg is this? Do you want to eat this tonight? Hai asked curiously. How can one egg be enough? Yamato said it was not enough. This is the egg of a Philo Bird. It is a monster that can be fought. Don't just think about feeding it. Kong Zhan complained to several people. And according to the setting of that world, as long as the battle is successful, the experience value will be increased, which is equivalent to growth. Only when you grow to a certain extent can you turn into a human form. I can't seem to see it, so I guess it will grow up before I know it, so I don't need to worry about it. It looks pretty fast in the original book, but I don't know how to raise it myself. Philo Bird? It's a name I've never heard of. Robin also looked at Philo Bird with some curiosity. Well, you will know when she is born. Kong Zhan smiled. Hold it in the palm of your hand. That's the point. Let's practice some domineering. Later, you, the first, second and third divisions, will go around to see if there are any pirates and gain practical experience. Then hang all the heads of the pirates with bounties on them near the ship so no one will cause trouble. I've hung the head of the guy with a reward of 200 million before. Over there. Kong Zhan spoke in a calm tone, and said extremely scary words. You still want to cut off your head? How disgusting. Yuri complained silently. Although we are pirates, we are different from those guys. We are just pirates pursuing freedom. But those pirates burned, killed, looted and committed all kinds of evil. So don't show mercy. They deserve it. Numbers 1 to 29 are human trafficking shops and illegal zones. There are many pirates in this generation. The government can't even control it. And Kong Zhan wants to use pirates to rectify pirates. Fix the stinking atmosphere of today's pirates. Although he is a pirate, he does not burn, kill or loot. He just wants to be more free. Compared with the navy, adventurers, bounty hunters, etc., pirates are not as free. As long as you become a pirate, you can do whatever you want, including killing pirates in the name of rectifying pirates. What's wrong with that? Even if you are a pirate, you can do whatever you want. He could do what the navy couldn't do. He can do what the adventurer cannot do. Pirates speak with their fists. So he can do things that pirates weaker than him can't do. Like, kill them. But I am too lazy, so I leave it to them to clean up the miscellaneous soldiers. However, Momonosuke and others still have to do it themselves. Presumably the obedient Yuri won't object, right? What would happen if Yuri killed Momonosuke with her own hands? So funny. An imperceptible smile appeared on Kong Zhan's lips, and then he said to the girls, then let's go quickly. Area 1 to Area 29 are within our scope of activities. And they stood up one after another. Brother Kong Zhan is really good at summoning people, he said. But Yuri-chan also laughed. Okay, kill all these hateful villains when you see them, Yamato said seriously. Kill them all away. Mikasa looked serious. Soon, 3 divisions. There were 9 people in total, all dispatched. Kong Zhan looked at their backs and said casually, "Oh my, they all look quite motivated. By the way, the pirate group hasn't even been named yet. What should we call it?" He thought slightly. By the way, they won't encounter Tianlong people. No, how can there be Tianlong people in the Lawless zone? Tianlong people? Dragon. Kong Zhan suddenly grinned. Isn't the name coming soon? Dragon slaying. Pirate group. Happy. But this name can't be reported now. Let's do it in a year. Report it after a year to avoid any influence. My layout, he said to himself. Kong Zhan was lying on the recliner. I bought a tablet from the system store and started watching anime. After all, being idle is idle, so why not do something? It took several hours. The girls returned at sunset, carrying a bag, and inside the bag were the heads of pirates. They hung their heads on the trees. If you can't hang it anymore, just break off a branch and stick the head on it. This kind of scene. Makino and Raftalia were the most intolerable. But the two women persisted. Mikasa also frowned, but this was also a way to establish her authority. Only in this way could she make a name for herself here. Soon, dozens of pirate heads were stuck on it. It's really a feast for the eyes. Li Shi chuckled. Or a branch with a head. To her, it's just like a lollipop. After all, she is a ghoul. It's finally done. As expected of Brother Kong Zhan. He used this method to discuss those pirates. In this case, who else dares to enter this area? Yamato looked at the many heads and felt something in his mouth. Chapter 86. The Second Imperial Capital. The second night attack. A few days later. Today, Area 13 has become a pirate-restricted area. Countless pirate heads hung on tree trunks. During this time, Yamato and the others slaughtered hundreds of pirates. Yamato, Yuri, and Mikasa are called the three ghosts of Area 13 by the pirates. Yamato is an ice ghost, Yuri is a fire ghost, and Mikasa is naturally a shadow ghost. The three of them are a pirate's nightmare. Kill one on sight. Kill every group you see. Kong Zhan was deeply pleased. Well done, Kong Zhan praised, looking at the pirate heads around him, including many pirates worth hundreds of millions. Of course. Don't worry while I'm doing the work, Yamato. Yamato puffed up his chest and spoke proudly. PFFT. Look at you like that. Yuri couldn't help laughing. What? Look down on me. Yamato looked unconvinced. Come on, why are you arguing? It's time to eat. Kong Zhan sighed and spoke to the girls. That's all. Everyone went to have a meal together. Kong Zhan simply ate and returned to the bedroom to open the group chat. I'd like to ask how Chitong's progress is. Group chat. Kong Zhan, how is the situation of at Red Eyes? No problem, Boss Kong Zhan. We have intercepted the 3 children who were sold to the nobles as servants. We also went to inquire about the nobles' situation. They are indeed not good people. Shay, Sir Kong Zhan, please rest assured. I also told the former minister in advance that they took a detour to the night attack base and are now members of the Revolutionary Army. Shay, and the boss said that he would bring the former minister to the Revolutionary Army in 2 days, and his daughter would stay with us in the night attack to clear out the imperial capital. Red Eyes, speaking of Brother Kong Zhan, the boss said he wants to meet you. Kong Zhan, oh? See me? Kong Zhan touched his chin, and it was right. He asked Yizai to do these things, and he should do it. In addition, I have worked with Nitrade before. Kong Zhan: okay, I'll go the later. Izumi Shinichi, boss of the group, Kimija Makana also wants to see you. Kong Zhan, huh? Did you tell her my name? Izumi Shinichi, I didn't say it, but because I wanted to protect her, I always followed her. She was suspicious of her, so she said something like call the person who asked you to follow me. Sora-zan, I'm numb, really 6. Kong Zhan, tell her tomorrow, I don't have time today. Kong Zhan held his forehead, he was full of things to do. So he just mentioned the group members, and that was it. What if there were more group members? Let's solve each world one by one first. Izumi Shinichi, okay, the leader of the group, if possible, the boss can actually just take that sack away and protect it himself. Mikasa, Bujimaseko, what a great idea. Kong Zhan, there is a future, I will do it next time. Kong Zhan really wanted to say something. Young man, he is getting better and better at talking. The sun sets quickly. In the afternoon, he watched the girls practice, had something to eat, and then left. Night attack. Night attack. A group of people are cooking in the restaurant, and Kong Zhan suddenly appeared aside. Yeah, you are having dinner. If I had known I would have come to have a meal. What a pity. Kong Zhan looked at the people eating and sighed. Lubbock was shocked when he saw the person coming. Unexpectedly, the barrier he put up with the Tegu didn't respond at all. PFFT, why are you here? Kong Zhan suddenly appeared, causing Ma Yin to spit out the rice. Pink-haired twin tail Lilai, good evening. Kong Zhan greeted with a smile. What? Aha! Ma Yin was about to curse. He was directly pulled by Hill, and his mouth was stuffed with a bun by Chitong. Brother Kong Zhan, stop teasing her. Chitong said, feeling troubled. Boss, Lord Kong Zhan is here. Do you want to say something? She looked at Boss and asked him. Are you Kong Zhan? Thank you for your help with the night attack and the Revolutionary Army. Boss thanked him sincerely. She is blind in her right eye and wears an eye patch. The right hand was broken and a robotic arm was installed. She has short white hair and a pretty figure. Help? How can I help? Kong Zhan asked confused. It's just How can he help? As soon as Ma Yin finished the bun in her mouth, Hill stuffed another one into her mouth. She looked at Hill with a pitiful expression, as if she was saying, "You even bullied me." Both the previous battles and the information told to us this time have provided us with great help. You see, because you fear, and Lunu avoided being bullied by the nobles, they are now attacking at night, doing logistics, and Shibuya and her father Kieli did not fall into the ambush of the three beast warriors. And Kieli has joined our revolutionary army headquarters and given us a lot of help. It's all because of you. Boss Neji Ixiden spoke seriously. At this time, Kong Zhan turned his head and looked at the three little girls. Very cute indeed. It's really great not to be bullied by the nobles. That's it. If nothing happens, of course it's best. Kong Zhan laughed calmly, took a stool and sat up. By the way, are you really unwilling to join the night attack? Boss Neji Ixiden still asked with some expectation. I'm not interested. By the way, Neji Ixiden, do you want to be the emperor? Kong Zhan turned his head slightly and asked. Emperor? This kind of thing will be unnecessary after the revolution, right? Neji Ixiden was a little confused about what Kong Zhan meant. In other words, do you want to be the supreme leader of this country? Kong Zhan touched his chin and then asked. Actually, as long as the people of this empire no longer suffer, it doesn't matter who the leader is. Neji Ixiden shook her head and laughed. What if the revolutionary army in the future will become a second empire? If you don't seize the position of leader, will you set up a second night attack force? Kong Zhan's words were fatal. The people around him became serious, and they all pricked up their ears to listen to Kong Zhan's words. You must be more or less aware of how the prosperous empire got to where it is today? But if you don't become the supreme leader, will you continue to watch corruption by then? Perhaps by then you have already. When you are old, you can only watch like this. Maybe you wanted to win for the people again, but you were killed by the higher-ups because you didn't have enough rights. Isn't that right? If you don't have enough rights, you just believe them. But you have to understand that the most reassuring thing is to have everything in your own hands. Kong Zhan said calmly, narrowing his eyes slightly. He is telling a fact. If the power is in the hands of others, it is better to hold it in your own hands. So, Your Majesty wants me to become the leader of the revolutionary army? Neji Ixiden asked. I want you to become the leader of the new empire. Only in this way can this empire truly be what you want. Only in this way, I can guarantee that you will take down the empire. Kong Zhan said with serious eyes and straight words, without any trace of doubt. Sloppy. It was as if such magnificent words had become a plaything in his mouth. Chapter 87 helps you become the supreme leader. So you mean that you will only help me if you and I become supreme leaders? Neji Ixiden asked tentatively. No, as long as you are fine. Because I believe in you, but I don't believe in the revolutionary army. Kong Zhan shook his head, and then looked at Neji Ixiden. I don't believe in the revolutionary army. But why do you believe me? Neji Ixiden looked strange and confused. Believe you, Humphrey. Secret. Kong Zhan chuckled. But Neji Ixiden looked at her members and asked, what do you think, boss? What he said makes sense. If all this is left to the revolutionary army, we don't know what will happen in the future. What? It would be better if the opportunity puts me behind our own. Bran thought about it and spoke seriously. That's right. Besides, the revolutionary army only provided resources. We were the ones who really fought hard, and the revolutionary army was just sitting back and enjoying the gains. It would be much better if he could guarantee that we could overthrow the empire. Nothing else. Said that his power is unfathomable. Lubbock expressed dissatisfaction, and then looked at Kong Zhan seriously. Just standing here gave him a sense of oppression. It's a too arbitrary sense of oppression. I do not know how to describe. After all, he is brother Kong Zhan. Yes, Lord Kong Zhan is invincible. Shitong and Shu both said. After all, it's quite clear where they stand. Not to mention Kai Tong. Shu is definitely on Kong Zhan's side anyway. She came to night trade because Kong Zhan asked her to come. HMPH. Ma Yin didn't say anything, just hummed softly. As a meeting gift. Drink this. Kong Zhan grinned slightly. He took out a small glass bottle, which contained a red liquid. Blood? Neji Ixiden was a little confused. Why are you drinking blood? That's right, it's blood. Blood that can repair your arms and eyes. Kong Zhan finished. Neji Ixiden was very surprised. What did you say? Can you repair my arms and eyes? Her tone was full of disbelief. That's right. Kong Zhan nodded lightly and gave her all the glass bottles. Neji Ixiden quickly caught it, afraid of falling on the ground. But this kind of thing was unheard of. It is almost impossible to regenerate a severed limb. Looking at the glass bottle in his hand. Don't worry, boss. Since brother Kong Zhan said it, there's no need to lie to you. Chitong said directly. She still has great trust in Kong Zhan. I understand. Neji Ixiden heard Chitong's affirmation and no longer hesitated. Remove the goggles and robotic arm. Looking at the glass bottle, he drank it in one gulp. A few seconds later, her eyes widened in shock, and terrifying power burst out from her body. Her right arm and right thigh instantly grew at an extremely fast speed. This made all the night traders dumbfounded. Boss, your hands. Ah really? Lubbock looked surprised. It's back. My hand. Neji Ixiden was very surprised. Even Chitong and Seiyu's eyes were bright when they saw this scene. And in the future, your body will no longer be short of weight, and broken limbs can be reshaped. Kong Zhan said suddenly, and then curved the corner of his mouth. "Thank you, Lord Kong Zhan. I will find a way to get the highest leadership in the future." Nazarick knelt down directly. Obviously she was very touched by Kong Zhan's kindness. "That's enough." Kong Zhan breathed a sigh of relief before continuing. "Then let me give you another ability," he said, opening the points Maul started to choose. That's it. It didn't take long before the choice was made. Modified version, God-killing tool, the battle axe of the Lion King. Introduction. Coming from the world of Demon High School, it has the ability to transform into armor, commonly known as the Forbidden Hand, and it contains powerful power that can tear apart space, and it also has strong defense to protect the holder. Kong Zhan read the introduction and bought it. If you become a blood relative, all abilities with less than 3,000 points can be purchased. Suddenly, that gushing power burst out of Kong Najexitan's body. The powerful breath blew through the cheeks of everyone present like a strong wind. "So strong, boss." Lubbock looked surprised. "No. The really powerful one should be that boy," Brand said seriously. "Just give others such terrifying power at will." "Can it be powerful?" "This kind of powerful power that ordinary people can't obtain even after spending their entire lives, to him, is just a thing that can be given casually." "Amazing." "Wow wow wow, this boy is really amazing." Not only did he heal Boss's hands and eyes, but he also gave Boss such strong power. Lenai on the side couldn't help but praise him. "Speaking of young man, if that doesn't work, you can help us carry out a night attack and kill all the leaders of the imperial capital directly. From now on, you will be the boss and I will be your little brother," Lenai said with a smile on his hips. "Hey, this is your job." "I'm not interested in doing it. Besides." Kong Zhan walked towards Lenai, got slightly closer to his ear, and said softly, "I just want the people I care about to be well, living, including you." Upon hearing Kong Zhan's words, Lenai's face turned slightly red. "You are so good at it," she thought to herself. Never thought that one day she would be teased. "No, we have to fight back." Then, Lenai also immediately talked in Kong Zhan's ears. "You are a good man. If you care about my sister so much, how about becoming my man from now on?" As he said this, Lenai provocatively licked Kong Zhan's ear and gently bit it with his teeth. Kong Zhan chuckled lightly, put his palm against her warm cheek, and continued to speak softly. Yes, but there are Chitong and Shay in front, so you have to line up properly." Hearing this sentence, Lenai is just a bit of a kitten. "Oops, wrong person. This guy is not a good man." Lenai turned his head away, not looking very happy. Although Brand on the side looks like a muscular man, he is not a brainless person. Seeing this scene, he broke into a cold sweat. What is the background of the other party? Could it be a god? But how could Chitong get involved with this guy? Brand thought and looked at Kaitrong aside. As a result, Chitong looked like a little fangirl. His eyes were sparkling. Ma Yin also felt a sense of urgency in her heart. She didn't expect that this man was much more powerful than she thought. Lost organs can be regenerated by drinking his blood, and can also give others powerful powers. What a powerful man this is. Even Hill, who was standing aside, was watching this scene seriously. Chapter 88 Kawaii is Justice. Okay, you can continue eating. If you have any questions, ask Shu and Kaitong to contact me. Kong Zhan was too lazy to stay any longer, so he spoke. Well, okay. Nazarick also nodded solemnly. Kong Zhan took one last look at the three little Lolita. The eyes looking at them seemed to be full of respect and nervous. Even Shibuya next to them was the same. It's like the upper-level leaders came down to inspect. Am I so scary? Kong Zhan murmured, and then spoke to the four of them. Goodbye then. He showed a smile that he thought was good, but this time they became more nervous and felt flattered. By the urgency made them shout in unison. Then, Kong Zhan disappeared out of thin air. They were very surprised. Returned to the bedroom on the ship. It was already dark outside the window. Kong Zhan sighed softly, stretched. Today is finally over. Dong dong. There was a knock on the door. Brother Kong Zhan, are you there? Mikasa's voice came from outside the door. Is it Mikasa? I'm here, Kong Zhan replied. He was a little weird. What was Mikasa doing here so late? Then, he opened the door. I saw Mikasa. Her face was slightly rosy. She was wearing black pajamas with dots of stars, and she was holding a white pillow in her arms. Well, Brother Kong Zhan, Can we sleep together? Mikasa murmured. Kong Zhan was confused. You all seem to like running into my room recently. No. If it doesn't work, forget it. Mikasa said, her eyes lowered. No, I'm just a little surprised. If Mikasa wants to, let's go together. Kong Zhan said, slightly curling the corners of his mouth. Really? Mikasa raised her head, her eyes bright. Very excited. Come in. Can't I lie to you? Kong Zhan chuckled. Seeing that he agreed, Mikasa immediately walked in, a happy look on his face. But I felt nervous inside again. Kong Zhan closed the door. Go to bed. He rubbed Mikasa's head. Yeah, Mikasa responded. He picked up the pillow and got into bed. Kong Zhan turned off the light. Under the moonlight outside the window, only the shadows of the two people could be seen. He also got into bed. They both lay down together. Mikasa, why do you want to sleep with me today? Kong Zhan asked curiously. Eccentric, Mikasa whispered. Kong Zhan was confused again. Partial. Brother Kong Zhan is so partial. Sister Rise, Sister Seko, and Raftalia have all slept here. Obviously, I haven't. At the end of the sentence, Mikasa's tone changed from angry, it turned into a whisper. That's it. Mikasa is actually jealous. But Kong Zhan felt a little happy in his heart. He turned around and held her in his arms. Idiot, what's the point of being partial? If you want to come, I'll always welcome you. He held Mikasa in his arms and spoke softly to her. Really? Mikasa whispered against Kong Zhan's chest. Of course it's true, but over there in your bedroom, if someone finds out, maybe there will be a few more people in my bedroom, Kong Zhan said, gently rubbing Mikasa's hair. Huh? It doesn't matter, I won't let them find out. Mikasa said seriously that she wanted to eat secretly. TSK. That's it, then I'll leave it to you, little Mikasa. Kong Zhan looked at the cute Mikasa and felt really happy. Again, Kawaii is justice. Kawaii is invincible. Long live Kawaii. Then brother Kong Zhan, I will continue to come tomorrow. When Mikasa spoke, she was still a little worried about being rejected. You're so cute, Mikasa. Do you treat me like a family member? Come if you want. Kong Zhan's tone was very indifferent. But the words "do you treat me like a family member" hit Mikasa hard. Yes, I and brother Kong Zhan are family members. Why say so much? Isn't it okay to just do whatever you want to do? Why are you so nervous? Really are. Mikasa suddenly figured it out in her heart. He also hugged Kong Zhan. Then he grabbed his arm. Yes, we are family. I will never go out with Kong Zhan brother again. I will do whatever I want. Mikasa looked at Kong Zhan's cheek and said directly. That's right. Kong Zhan hugged him tighter. Who wouldn't be happy to have a kawaii girl as a family member? It's really warm. Brother Kong Zhan has always been my family. Mikasa was a little sleepy and spoke in a daze. Yeah, it's always been yours. Kong Zhan responded. He was also happy to be liked by Mikasa. After all, he knows Mikasa's single-minded character very well. But now Mikasa is not developed at all. If you like it, you like it. We can't make a move, so let's just like it first. Looking at Mikasa's sleeping face. That's great. I wonder what it will be like if I have a child with Mikasa in the future. I think too far. The next day, Kong Zhan opened his eyes in confusion and stretched a little. Unexpectedly, Mikasa woke up early. She looked at herself with a happy smile. Are you satisfied, Mikasa? Kong Zhan rubbed her black hair. Yes. Mikasa nodded happily and rubbed Kong Zhan affectionately. Such a cute look. Let Kong Zhan like it very much. Okay. Is it time for you to train? You still have to train every day, Kong Zhan said, twisting Mikasa's nose. Okay, brother Kong Zhan. Mikasa's face turned slightly red. He seemed to hesitate for a moment before kissing her. The fragrant lips touched Kong Zhan's cheek. This is for you, Mikasa said with blushing cheeks, then immediately got out of bed and ran out. Looking at his back, Kong Zhan felt a little dull. Give it back to me. Oh. Was that time? He seemed to remember the time he brought Seko back, and he kissed her. Unexpectedly, the little girl came back. After thinking about it, Kong Zhan chuckled. Mikasa-chan is so nice. Kong Zhan felt deep in his heart. Then, a red dot appeared in the group chat. Anyone name themselves? Group chat. Quinksine, at Kong Zhan group leader is the boss free now? Kong Zhan, what do you say when you are free? Izumi Shinichi, Kimijima kinda wants to see you here. I can't stand it anymore, and even brought a little gangster with me. The current Izumi Shinichi has not been repaired by Xian. He still has human emotions for the time being, so he will not fight back even if he is hit. To a certain extent, he is similar to Kanki Ken. Kong Zhan, okay, come right away. At this moment, he just wanted to express his gratitude. Business is busy. Chapter 89 Bad in the Alley. So your so-called boss, is he here? The guy who asked you to follow Kana. The man who spoke had brown hair and a hat, and there were 3 or 4 younger brothers behind him. His name is Mitsuo. You are obviously so weak, but someone still asks you to protect me? It's really strange. Kimijima Kana walked forward, looking at Izumi Shinichi who was beaten again in front of him, a little confused. But suddenly, Kana saw his eyes. There seems to be a very terrifying existence inside that eye. Suddenly Kana was frightened and took a step back. What's going on? Why? Izumi Shinichi muttered to himself, knowing that something would happen to her and that she could sense parasites. Even if the group leader didn't say anything, he would have thought of ways to protect her as much as possible. After all, this is what humans are. Hey, why are you like that guy Kanki? So, you anime heroes, you don't know how to be ruthless even if you don't know 1007. Came a male voice. The person who came was none other than Kong Zhan. He came around the corner from Izumi Shinichi. Hands in pockets, eyes relaxed. This is obviously the look of someone who just woke up. The boss of the group. Izumi Shinichi shouted in surprise. Group leader? Boss? Gwentman raised his eyebrows. Are you the man who asked this guy to protect Kana? By the way, who are you? Mitsuo looked at Kong Zhan with a very strange look. He has never seen this man before. Although Mitsuo is said to be Kana's friend on the surface, he has a secret crush on Kana. So he was also very concerned about Kana's affairs. Hey, everyone. Kana, you just saw it, right? Or there is a connection. Kong Zhan ignored Mitsuo and looked at Kana and asked, hey, you haven't answered my question yet. Mitsuo said, getting angry and ready to fight. Wait. Kana stopped him quickly, and then looked at Kong Zhan seriously. How do you know? Obviously, Kong Zhan was right. You are in danger, Kana. If you continue like this, your life will be in danger. Kong Zhan looked at her and said calmly. So you let this useless guy protect her? I can protect Kana, you don't have to worry. Mitsuo said angrily. TSK, are you like that? Kong Zhan curled his lips, then turned to look at Izumi Shinichi who had already stood up. Xianye, let Xia beat him. Kong Zhan said directly. But Xia was very confused. How do you know I exist? Izumi Shinichi's words are always around him, so it's impossible to say them. How is this going? Xia, Kong Zhan shouted again. Immediately afterwards, Shinichi's right hand turned directly into a blade with eyes on it, and he slashed at Kong Zhan. This scene made everyone who didn't understand it dumbfounded. I'll go. Why are you cutting me? Kong Zhan curled his lips and grabbed Xiaoyu with one hand, and its blade couldn't hurt Kong Zhan at all. Who are you? Xia asked. Xia, don't hurt him, Queen Shinya said, and anxiously pulled Xia back. Hey, do you think he can hurt me? Kong Zhan raised his eyebrows. Then what is that? Mitsuo and the others were dumbfounded. Kana, this is the kind of thing that connects you. If you know their true identity, you are likely to be stunned. Kong Zhan said to him with a smile, and also made a gesture of cutting his neck with a hand knife. Hiss. The younger brother next to him was startled. But when Xia saw that Kong Zhan could not be killed, he wanted to kill others first to silence him. He directly pulled Izumi Shinichi and rushed towards Mitsuo and the others. No. Xia. Izumi Shinichi kept pulling him back. Xia turned into two blades, causing Mitsuo and Kana to retreat continuously. And those younger brothers were scared away long ago. You're like this? You said you could protect Kana. Kong Zhan shook his head and chuckled. He appeared directly next to Xiaoyu, held it with one hand, and pulled him back. Xia, why are you so angry? Kong Zhan sighed. These days, parasitic beasts are quite fierce. Who are you? I don't think you have any contact with Shinichi. Xia said. Me? I'm Xinya's boss, so I'm also your boss. Kong Zhan said seriously. Boss? But I've never seen you. Xia said again. Xia, the boss is very strong, just listen to him. Izumi Shinichi advised. And it showed that Kong Zhan was his boss. Xia said it was strange. Finally come to a conclusion. It must be the boss that Izumi Shinichi recognized when he was sleeping. But if we let them go, we will be in danger. Xia said again. Don't worry, I will help you if you are in too much danger. Kong Zhan said to Xia, then turned to look at Kana. How about, come with me? Kana seemed hesitant. Seeing the hesitant Kana, Mitsuo was not happy. Aha, who's afraid of you? Mitsuo rushed forward. Seeing this, Xia didn't miss the opportunity. It turned directly into a blade and pierced Mitsuo's thigh. He saw that Guingnan's thigh was about to be cut off. Let Kana's eyes widen in disbelief. It was clear that there was no damage at all when attacking the man just now, but the attack on Mitsuo directly pierced him. Wait, Xia. Izumi Shinichi was still stopping Xia. Oh, it's really. Kong Zhan stretched out his hand slightly, facing Xia. A magic circle appeared in front of his hand. Forced sleep, he said calmly. Then, Xia felt dizzy and forcibly transformed back into Izumi Shinichi's right hand. How about it? If you don't go to the hospital for a while, it won't hurt. Looking at Guingnan whose thigh was shattered, Kong Zhan shook his head. Was that a magic circle just now? He actually knows magic. Kana's eyes were even more glazed. Unexpectedly, this man actually used magic. Does such a thing really exist? Magic? That's right. What do you think? Are you going to leave with me? I came here specifically to find you. I just don't want you to die. Don't let me down, Kana. Kong Zhan walked to Kana. In front of him, his hand touched her cheek. This guy looks like a bad girl, but it's actually Mitsuo and the others who do this kind of thing all the time. If you look closely, she's actually quite cute. You don't want me to die. By the way, what is that magic? It seems that Kana is more curious about the magic just now than his own death. As expected of the girl who was so brave after being persuaded by Izumi Shinichi many times in the original work, she was led astray by Mitsuo's group of gangster friends. Magic is magic. Answer my question first. Kong Zhan said speechlessly. Well, I'll go with you. Then you teach me magic. Kana looked expectant. He didn't seem to care much about Mitsuo who fell to the ground next to him. It depends on my mood. Kong Zhan responded casually, then looked at Quinkxinia and said, bring him to the hospital quickly. Ah. Okay. Boss. Quinkxinia nodded repeatedly. Kana, let's go. Kong Zhan turned around again, looked at Kana and spoke. Where to go? Kana asked curiously. Another world. Chapter 96 Eyes. Is it here? Is this a ship? Kana looked curious. The boat is surrounded by various large trees in the Shampoo Islands. There were many heads hanging on the trees. There were also many planted on the ground outside the ship. Hiss. It's so scary. Kana was shocked when she saw those heads. Don't be afraid. These are evil spirits. Kong Zhan looked at her like this and started to say, Zenxi, that's fake, right? Looking at those heads, she felt so realistic. Who would use such a thing to suppress evil? She turned her head. The boat is huge. At a glance you can see some people fighting with each other. It was Yamato and the others who were practicing the use of haki. That's amazing. Some of the kids look younger than me, right? Kana looked surprised as he watched the battle between Yamato and Hiyori. Then you will be a member of our ship from now on, Kana. But you are too weak. I will give you this, Kong Zhan said. He threw a bottle of genetic enhancement potion to her. Kana quickly caught it, but was a little confused. What is this? She asked, somewhat confused. After drinking it, your physical fitness will be stronger. Drink well. Kong Zhan came forward and rubbed her head. Well, Kana looked at Kong Zhan, who was so close. His face turned slightly rosy. This man is so gentle. She thought so in her heart. Ding. Completed the mission to find the crew 6/10. Received reward. No side effects. Gojo Satoru's full power. The prompt sound came from Kong Zhan's mind. He was already numb. Anyway, what he was given was the power of all kinds of invincible protagonists in the world. Is it possible to make himself a super protagonist? Kana beside him had already drank the potion. Go down. Feeling the power in her body, her respect for Kong Zhan increased. Then, Kong Zhan let him get familiar with the surroundings. It was not just once or twice that he brought people here, and they probably all understood it. Well, just introduce it again during the meal. Kong Zhan took Kana to the aquarium area below. After all, girls should like this kind of thing, right? How is it? Is it nice? Kong Zhan asked with a smile. That's amazing. Kana blinked and looked at the fish on the other side of the glass. Next to it is my bedroom. If you have any questions, you can come to me, Kong Zhan said, pointing to the room next to him. I understand. By the way, when will you teach me magic? Kana came forward with expectant gaze. Oh, magic. Later. Kong Zhan began to draw the pie. He was a little troubled. Alas, alas. How long will it take in the future? Kana was a little disappointed, but still asked. In the future. It depends on my mood, Kong Zhan said and pinched Kana's face. HMPH. Jana seemed unhappy. She felt that Kong Zhan just didn't want to teach her. What's the rush? It will take time. Kong Zhan stroked her hair affectionately. By the way, are you wearing white today? He whispered in Kana's ear. Kana's eyes were stunned. Suddenly he clamped his thighs and his face turned red. How did you know? Kana suddenly shuddered. I saw it. In my eyes. Kong Zhan pointed to his eyes with a smile. The 6 eyes are easy to use. There are things that block the line of sight, but they do not hinder the vision, and you can see 360 degrees, even the things behind you. Yes, this is the organ that can truly see 3 dimensions, like the eyes that could only see a 180-degree range before. The picture they saw was just a 2-dimensional plane. These so-called 6 eyes are the ones that can truly see the eyes of the 3-dimensional world. What kind of perverted magic did you use? Kana quickly covered her skirt with her hands, with an angry look on her face. TSK. Kong Zhan laughed. I won't tease you anymore. He walked aside and sat down, and Kana quickly walked over to him and sat down. So you are lying. How could there be such a perverted magic? Kana said. He was crazy in his heart and making excuses for himself. Yes. He must be joking. You think so? Kong Zhan said casually. When she heard this, she seemed to feel relieved. She felt that it was Kong Zhan's acquiescence. Otherwise, wouldn't he have looked at so many girls on the boat? He must be teasing himself. Then how did he know that he was wearing white today? How weird. Kong Zhan stretched his waist. If you say so, join the first team. If you don't know him, just ask him later, he said to Kana. First team? How is it? Kana was a little curious. The captain is Yamato, and his teammates Ryo and Seko are generally very powerful. They should be the strongest team. Well, you should be the weakest. Come on, do your best. You have to train with them later. In this case, you can easily kill those parasitic beasts. Kong Zhan patted her shoulder lightly. The strongest team. But what are those parasitic beasts? Kana asked curiously. It seems to be a lava that suddenly appeared on the spores in the sky of your world. Maybe it's a test product developed by aliens and thrown on the Earth for experiment, right? Maybe it's a counterattack caused by humans not caring for the environment. Who knows? I only know that these parasites will invade the host's head and control the host. It's just that Izumi Shinichi was lucky and didn't have his head swallowed. It's just that one hand is missing. The parasitic beast successfully became the boy's right hand, and the two are in a symbiotic state. Kong Zhan explained to Kana. Is that so? By the way, is this really another world? How did we get here? Kana's mind is full of questions now. After all, too many bizarre things happened in just a few minutes. There are too many doubts in his head at once. This is another world, although it is more dangerous than your world. Don't worry, if you are by our side, we will naturally protect you and make you stronger until you can protect yourself. Kong Zhan continued to speak. That's it. Kana nodded as if he understood. Are there any other questions? Kong Zhan asked. Let me think about it. As a matter of fact, as expected. When will you teach me magic? Kana's eyes were serious. Kong Zhan was speechless. Next time, definitely. Do you have any other questions? He covered his head. I just want to learn magic. You also allow me to protect myself, so learning magic is also about protecting myself, right? If you teach me to learn magic, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can protect me, and you can also let me learn magic. Kana's words are inseparable from magic. Yes, let's be honest, your body there is no magic in it, so if you want to use magic, Let's do this. Kong Zhan opened the point small and bought a solar-powered magic wand, which was about 30 centimeters and not particularly big. He handed it to Kana and backed up a set of paper instructions. Here you go, the magic wand. Let's play with it. Don't make any noise. Kong Zhan looked disgusted. Okay! Kana looked excited. She can also use magic. The delinquent girl transformed into a magical girl. This is really cool. Kana quickly took the staff. It was very light and had a suspended red magic stone in the middle. It was so cool! Her eyes seemed to be a little bright. You are so good. By the way, what's your name? Kana then remembered that he still didn't know the other party's name. Kong Zhan. Just call me Brother Kong Zhan or Boss. Kong Zhan said nonchalantly. Okay, Boss Kong Zhan. You are really kind. As he said that, Kana looked at Kong Zhan with a moved face. I'm so nice. Why don't you show it to me? Kong Zhan pointed to his cheek. Kana's face turned red again, but he did not refuse and tapped Kong Zhan's cheek. Boss Kong Zhan, I'm going out to try the power of the magic wand, Kana said and ran out. Chapter 91 Miyano Akemi drive Ali's home. Miyano Shiho has been studying it for a long time. She found that this bug is very strange. It has the characteristics of plants and living things. It's similar to a fusion. But how can plants and organisms fuse? Is it a product of natural evolution? This parasitic beast is so weird. Basically there are two possibilities. One is a product of natural evolution, and the other is an alien invasion. This alien naturally refers to outside the planet. It's really strange. Sure enough, the proportion of alien species is higher. Qiuanai said to himself, with her current technological level, it is still difficult to understand. Xiao AI, how did you get this kind of thing? Dr. Ali looked at the research results and was very puzzled. This kind of thing is basically beyond his cognition. A friend gave it to me. It was already night on Kong Zhan's side. I wanted to sleep, but unexpectedly I found that the filo egg was about to break out of its shell. Mikasa is also here at this time. The two of them looked at Philo Dan nervously. Crunching. The eggshell seems to be gradually breaking. Brother Kong Zhan is coming out. Mikasa looked serious. Yeah. Kong Zhan also looked at the eggshell carefully. Immediately afterwards, a little philo bird breaks out of its shell. It flew straight up. The little philo bird chirped and flew up. It flew to Kong Zhan's head. Wow, so cute. As cute as Raftalia. Mikasa looked at the little philo bird with a look of surprise. What a strange description you are using. Kong Zhan complained silently. But it's really cute. Since it's a philo bird, let's call it Philo. Kong Zhan smiled and touched the little Philo on his head. But I was thinking, how on earth did this little guy suddenly become so big in the original novel? Raftalia seems to have grown up a bit lately. Sure enough, the world is different. The structure of the body may also be different. Kong Zhan sighed with emotion. Little Philo, follow Mikasa first. Kong Zhan said and took Philo off his head and handed it to Mikasa. Yeah, leave it to me, Brother Kong Zhan. Mikasa nodded lightly, and then looked at Philo. A look of fondness on his face. I'll go to sleep first, he said and lay down directly on the bed. Mikasa looked at the little Philo in her hand, feeling a little unhappy. The next day, Mikasa took Philo out for training. Of course, she was training by herself, while Philo was playing beside her. Group chat. Miyano Shiho, even with the technology I have now, I can't pinpoint the origin of this creature. I'm really sorry. Izumi Shinichi, that's it. It doesn't matter. Miyano Shiho, I will study it further. Kong Zhan, has the antidote for your shrinking pill been developed? Are you still in the mood to study this? Seeing this sentence, Miyano Shiho was stunned. How does he know? Is it true, as the group members said, that the group leader can see the future of other worlds? If not, it's probably a black organization. Thinking of this, she became nervous again. Kong Zhan, why don't you talk anymore? Kanki shrinking pill. Boss, what is that? Kong Zhan, it seems to be a drug called ATX 4869, right? Miyano Shiho, no. That's right. How do you know? Still so clear? Miyano Shiho still felt a little worried, so asked. Kong Zhan, who am I? I may have a way to change you back. Do you want to try? Kong Zhan's words once again confused Miyano Shiho. Is there any way to change myself back? There is nothing I can do, but the other party actually says there is a way. It seems that he knows this medicine better than himself. Miyano Shiho, just try it. She wanted to see what could change her back. Miyano Shiho secretly hid in the toilet. After all, she didn't know what would happen next. Kong Zhan, Miyano Shiho's exclusive red envelope. Miyano Shiho has received the red envelope. Then, Miyano Shiho looked at the glass bottle in his hand. Isn't this blood? Is it really okay? Forget it. A dead horse is a living doctor. Let me see if this group leader is really powerful or just being arrogant. Miyano Shiho didn't care about that much. She didn't want to use this blood to study it, because the result would definitely be inconceivable. After all, after so many days, the parasitic beast couldn't figure it out. Not to mention the mysterious group leader. She held the transparent glass bottle, closed her eyes, and drank it in one gulp. A mysterious power burst out from her body. It's actually really possible? Miyano Shiho felt it at this moment. She could now freely control the size of her body. What a surprise. I didn't expect it to be possible. How is this done? And there is still a powerful force in the body. It can make her body extremely hard, and her strength also improves a lot. How true is this? She became more and more curious. Kong Zhan: how is it? Didn't I lie to you? Miyano Shiho: thank you, the group leader. It can really change me back. Seeing that there was no problem, Kong Zhan also breathed a sigh of relief. After all, it's just a guess. As long as you become a ghost, you are beyond the scope of human beings. Naturally, this kind of medicine is not enough. After all, ghosts are much more powerful than humans in all aspects. If it absorbs the power of the medicine perfectly, it may be able to grow or shrink at will. At this time, he also felt a connection with Miyano Shiho. Hey, can you hear me? Kong Zhan directly contacted Miyano Shiho with his mind. But this time Miyano Shiho was greatly frightened. Who are you? Miyano Shiho asked with some trembling. Why did the voice appear from my head? You just drank my blood and you don't know who I am? Kong Zhan's teasing voice came. Boss? Miyano Shiho asked curiously. Yes, your name is Xiao now, right? Kong Zhan finished. Miyano Shiho is stupid again. He, the boss, really knows everything. Yes, boss. Miyano Shiho replied. Let me tell you about Akemi. Kong Zhan said directly. Sister. Do you know my sister? Miyano Shiho suddenly became excited, but he still felt a little uncomfortable inside. Because his sister is dead. Do you want to see your sister again? Kong Zhan asked in riddle. What? Miyano Shiho was suddenly a little stunned. She didn't understand what Kong Zhan meant. See her again? This kind of thing can't be done, right? Miyano Shiho shook his head. I can do it. But you have to listen to me. Help me do something. Kong Zhan chuckled. Really? You can even do such a thing? Bring back the dead? At this moment, Miyano Shiho couldn't believe it. Don't believe me? Then forget it. Kong Zhan sighed, feeling a little helpless. No, I believe it. Miyano Shiho became firm. And then continued. Boss, if you want me to do something, just say it. What to do? Then turn your world upside down. Come and hang out with me. Kong Zhan grinned. He started to talk about his plan. He wanted to conduct a simple experiment on this world first. And this plan also shocked Miyano Shiho because such a plan was too anti-human. Chapter 92 Conquer the World. Finished explaining things to Miyano Shiho, Kong Zhan opened his eyes slightly. He simply changed his clothes and walked out. At this time, it's almost time to eat. When we arrived at the restaurant, as expected, everyone was seated. Brother Kong Zhan, I was just about to call you, Raiha said to Kong Zhan with a smile. Isn't this coming? Kong Zhan sat on the main seat and spoke to Raiha. As captains of the squad, the three of them are naturally the closest to Kong Zhan. Let's have dinner. Kong Zhan motioned as he looked at everyone. Okay. A wonderful day starts with cooking. It feels like the few days have gone by in an instant. There are many more pirate heads around the ship. When Kana first knew that these were true, he was shocked. She always thought these heads were just props. But the scare was over. After all, Kong Zhan told her that they were the heads of some heinous people, and there were many such people in this area. She felt better. Not much happened recently, boss. The things you told me have been done. Miyano Shiho's voice appeared in Kong Zhan's mind. It's only been a few days. It's very fast. Kong Zhan praised, and then he said seriously, then, we have to get ready to start. Boss, are you really planning to do this? Miyano Shiho asked, looking a little worried. After all, Kong Zhan's mission was extremely anti-human. As a human, she felt it was a bit outrageous. It was simply something that a god would do. After all, conquering the world or something. Sure enough, the boss is a god, right? She praised secretly, her admiration for the boss getting stronger. Of course, Kong Zhan said naturally, and then he continued. Don't worry, I'm here. Let's see if the servant you caught for me is to my liking. Kong Zhan grinned. That's right. One of the tasks previously given to Miyano Shiho. Just let her capture some guys she likes and make them servants. Don't you think it would be interesting? After all, he plans to use this world as a simple experimental base in the future. Just let the guy you want to live, naturally as a servant. When Kong Zhan appeared again, in a basement. This is probably where Miyano Shiho found it. Let me see. Kong Zhan turned his head. A lot of women were tied up. Because he was drugged by Miyano Shiho, he was in a coma. Everyone is very handsome. I didn't expect the boss to have such a hobby. There are so many more. Miyano Shiho had returned to his adult form at this moment. She covered her mouth and chuckled. Kong Zhan walked up to her and whispered in a teasing tone, Xiao Shiho, be careful too. Otherwise I'll take you too. But Miyano Shiho blushed and made no excuses. She coughed lightly and said seriously, boss, if you indulge in beauty every day, you will become weak. It's not that easy. Kong Zhan curled his lips. Miyano Shiho looked down on him. Alone, he looked at the women next to him, and every one of them was very familiar. Ranmari, Kazuha Toyama, Oko Nakamori, Sonoko Suzuki, Yoko Okino, Yukiko, Miles, Belmode, Mawako Sato, Azusa Inamoto. Let me go. You even captured Belmont. Kong Zhan suddenly discovered that the white-haired woman was not Belmont, known as Absinthe in the Black Organization. Just call him good guy. Absinthe? She brought it to me as soon as she found my trace. And she shot me several times. It's really too much. Then I'll catch you together. Miyano Shiho waved his hand, a little helpless. If it weren't for his strong recovery power, he would probably be dead. Looking back, she really didn't want bullets at that time. That's it. Good job. It can be considered an unexpected receipt, Kong Zhan said, taking out 10 slave chains out of thin air. Originally there were only 6, so he used his points to buy some more. Go ahead and put them on, and then untie the rope. Kong Zhan looked at Miyano Shiho and spoke to him. What is this? Miyano Shiho curiously took the slave chain, which looked a bit like a collar. You can put it on and let me do whatever you want. Do you want it too? Kong Zhan said with a smile. Hey, forget it. It's not like I don't listen to the boss anyway. Miyano Shiho also understood, but she felt that she didn't need it very much, and this kind of thing might become a constraint. And Kong Zhan was also joking. After all, the other party has drank his own blood, and he can control it anytime he wants. That's all. Miyano Shiho stepped forward and brought the slave chains to them one by one. Okay, then let's go up. Kong Zhan grinned. The game is about to start. The two of them reached a high-rise building and looked at the crowded city below. At a glance, there must be tens of thousands of people. Then, let's get started, Kong Zhan said calmly. Terrifying magics burst out from him. Several huge magic circles appeared and enveloped his body. The whole body exuded the breath of death. Ha 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 ha. This feeling of exuding power is so comfortable. He laughed. But this skill is a bit too slow. A gift to the Dark Mother Goddess Fengrun. Kong Zhan casually bought a skill-slowing hourglass from the Points Mall. Then, the hourglass appeared in his hand. Then, with a slight squeeze, the skill was activated instantly. In just an instant, all the humans within a radius of dozens of kilometers, except for the humans that Kong Zhan paid special attention to, died instantly. It is estimated that hundreds of thousands of people died. Boom dash. The sound of explosions came from everywhere below. I saw that the person who was driving below was instantly hit. It was like a car accident scene. People walking on the street also fell down one by one. This. Miyano Shiho. Everyone on the sidelines looked dumbfounded. What is my power? Kong Zhan raised the corners of his mouth and turned slightly towards Miyano Shiho on the side. Too strong. As expected of the boss, he can actually do this. Unknowingly, Miyano Shiho has been changed by Kong Zhan's blood, and she will not be uncomfortable with these scenes now. It can be said that Kong Zhan is now doing. She would consider everything to be no problem. It's not over yet. This is just the beginning. Kong Zhan laughed even more. As soon as he finished speaking, a huge black ball suddenly appeared in the sky. The black ball slowly fell down. Bang dong, a sound came. The black ball, it fell down like water droplets, wrapping the humans on the ground in the black liquid. It slowly condensed into huge black things, and gradually became clear. They were 4 legs, several feet long. Mouth. There are also unknown organs on the head that are like octopus tentacles, and each one is 100 meters high, which is very scary. Little goats, go and conquer this island. Kong Zhan shouted and spoke. This group of little goats seemed to understand what Kong Zhan said. While shouting "Bah," they dispersed around. This world, slowly, will be attacked. An unprecedented blow. Dash. Chapter 93. The Great Tomb of Nazarick. Ding. Because the host has the desire to occupy the world and takes action, it obtains a subsystem, the Summoning Character Force system. It includes summoning characters and summoning exclusive areas. After obtaining the exclusive areas, enter domain, there will be certain attribute bonuses. Since the host has opened this system for the first time, this system will give away the Force, Great Tomb of Nazarick, and all the characters in it. The system prompts came. This system is getting more and more advanced. It even has a gift package for newbies in its subsystems. System, you are very good, Kong Zhan said. It's great. Of course, he was thinking from his heart. He looked down from the top of the building and saw that it was deserted. Without saying a word, he jumped directly from the top floor. Hey, boss, Miyano Shiho exclaimed when he saw this, and jumped down quickly. Although it was a bit scary, my body started to move for some reason. It seems that worrying about Kong Zhan's safety comes first. Kong Zhan landed very safely, but Miyano Shiho in the sky did not have a good balance. She was startled. There were still a few meters to go before landing. Kong Zhan walked forward and stretched out his hands. Miyano Shiho was successfully caught. Miyano Shiho was also frightened and hugged Kong Zhan, with tears in his eyes. Oh, are you throwing yourself into my arms now? Kong Zhan narrowed his eyes with a smile, and the princess just held Miyano Shiho in her arms. What? Ahem. Boss, let me down. Miyano Shiho finally reacted and showed a cute expression. Okay, Kong Zhan responded. Miyano Shiho was released. I saw Miyano Shiho wearing jeans and a white plain clothes at the moment. Very refreshing. Speaking of which, boss, why are you planning to jump down? Shock me. Miyano Shiho rolled his eyes and looked at Kong Zhan. Just watch, Kong Zhan said calmly, looking forward, and ahead is a deserted open space. System, summon the Force, Great Tomb of Nazarick. he thought secretly in his heart. Suddenly, the sound of rumbling came from underground. A palace suddenly emerged from the ground and stood here. Then, several people walked out of the palace. The leader is wearing a pure white dress with a slight smile on his face. On the opposite side of the dress, his dark hair reaches to his waist. Two goat-like curly hairs grow on the side of his head. Angel-like hair can also be seen on his waist. Black wings. Behind it, there is a vampire elegantly dressed in Lolita. There is also a pair of tiny twins, who should be dark elves. There are also insect warriors with a height of 2.5 meters, covered with blue carapace. A high-level devil dressed in gentlemanly clothes and wearing round glasses. At the same time, on the side, a white-haired butler in a black tuxedo and a group of maids stood beside him, and then they all knelt down. Then, fellow guardians, I would like to offer my extremely loyal respect to the Supreme Being. The person who looked like a goddess in a pure white dress spoke. Guardian of the 1st to 3rd levels, Shaltir Bloodfallen, my lord. As he spoke, the vampire girl in Lolita walked forward, bowed her head and half knelt down. Guardian of the 5th level, Cositas, my lord. The person speaking this time was the insect warrior covered in ice blue armor. Then, he also half knelt down. Guardian of the 6th estate, Arabella Fora. She has pointed ears, dark skin, and lively personality. She is a dark elf. Her outfit is a bit misleading. She looks like boys' girls. We are also the guardian of the 6th level, Mayor Bellofor. This is a guy who is completely opposite to the dark elf next to him. He is wearing a skirt and looks submissive, but he is undoubtedly a male. See my lord. The two of them knelt down half at the same time. Guardian of the 7th level, Demiurge, my lord. Even as a high-level demon, he did not hesitate to kneel down. Headmaster of the Guardians, Albedo, my lord. Albedo, who was in pure white dress, also half knelt down with respect on her face, and then said with a serious face, Gargantua, the Guardian of the 4th level, and with the exception of the 8th level Guardian victim, all the Guardians of all levels pay homage to you. Welcome the return of the Supreme Being. As he said that, Albedo looked at him with a heavy and extremely respectful look on his face. Kong Zhan. On the side, Miyano Shiho was already dumbfounded. He came close to Kong Zhan and said softly, Boss, how did you do it? There were so many people all of a sudden. Kong Zhan just raised his eyebrows. Secret. He simply said 2 words and then walked forward. Stand up, everyone. A heavy voice reached everyone's ears, and everyone stood up one after another, including the butler next to me, and the maid of the Pleiades. After a slight pause, he continued, Next, our goal is to conquer this world. She will manage you from now on. Her name is Miyano Shiho. Kong Zhan pointed to Miyano Shiho aside, and then continued, Just follow her instructions. Everyone looked at the direction Kong Zhan pointed, which was a 20-year-old man. Human. Albedo was a little weird. Others are also puzzled. Why would they let a mere human being lead them? But no one dared to oppose the opinion of the Supreme Being. Well, that's not entirely true. Kong Zhan thought for a moment before continuing. Her current strength and part of her bloodline are beyond the scope of human beings. Is that so? I understand. We will follow the instructions of the Supreme Being. Purpose. Albedo nodded lightly, not really caring. She mainly followed Kong Zhan's orders. Okay, Miyano Shiho, go and bring those girls from the basement and hand them over to Sebastian over there. Kong Zhan looked at the white-haired butler and spoke to Miyano Shiho. When Sebastian saw the two of them discussing him, he put his hand on his chest and bowed slightly with respect. Is that uncle the housekeeper? I understand. Miyano Shiho nodded understandingly. Then she walked to the basement not far away. Kong Zhan walked forward and looked directly at Albedo. By the way, were you created by the system, or from a parallel world? The appearance is indeed exactly the same as in my impression. What are the settings like? Kong Zhan said curiously, and even touched Albedo. The horns on the head are hard and very real. They are indeed grown. Huh? Sorry, Your Majesty, I don't understand what you mean. Albedo shook her head. He looked very confused. Then have you heard of the flying squirrel who is also the Supreme? Kong Zhan hesitated for a moment and asked again. Manga? Albedo shook her head again, a little confused, and then continued, Our Supreme has always been you alone. It was you who created the great tomb of Nazarick and us. All our companions, you are our only Supreme Being, so how can there be other Supreme Beings? Albedo looked confused. Are you still a little worried that something will happen to the Supreme Being? That's it. That's good. Kong Zhan nodded lightly. This system setting is very good. Chapter 94 Strengthening of all members. Okay, let's occupy this country first. Just listen to Miyano Shiho's command. Kong Zhan looked at everyone and directly signaled. We follow the will of the Supreme Being. They suddenly shouted together. Okay, bye-bye then. When I come here next time, I hope I have already occupied this country where I had a good life. Kong Zhan smiled and then disappeared. But the ones who were left standing had very reluctant eyes. Unexpectedly, the Supreme Being who had just returned disappeared again before entering the gate of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. But they were not angry at all. After all, in their consciousness, Kong Zhan was the creator and the Supreme Being. No matter what decision the other party makes, it is right and you must implement it. But they are not robots, and they are still emotionally disappointed. Kong Zhan walked out of the cabin. Unconsciously, The number of people gradually increased. Originally there were only 3 or 4 people. Now there are 10 people. Ahem. Kong Zhan coughed heavily. All the girls' eyes turned to Kong Zhan. His eyes seemed to be filled with doubts. I'm here to announce something today, Kong Zhan said with a solemn expression. He rarely had such an expression. All of a sudden, all the girls became serious. Brother Kong Zhan, just say it, we'll all listen. Yamato also became serious, not as usual. After all, when it comes to seriousness, she still takes it seriously. And next, Kong Zhan spoke. What I want to say is our goal. Kong Zhan turned to look at the sea. We want to overthrow the world government and then conquer this sea. Destroy all the enemies that block our freedom. This is our goal. His voice was slightly cold. This goal is undoubtedly huge. However, although Kong Zhan had such a goal, he didn't really want to take action. Most of them still want to leave it to their own crew members to train them, although there is also an element of laziness in it. But this sentence, it really ignited their ambitions. Unexpectedly, his boss wanted to conquer the world. They always thought that Kong Zhan just wanted to travel freely, but I really didn't expect that Kong Zhan had such great ambitions. It really shocked them somewhat. So, please, continue to work hard to become stronger. Kong Zhan narrowed his eyes and chuckled. The reason why he said this was to give them a goal, a motivation to become stronger. Oh ho ho, I understand, brother Kong Zhan. Yamato became excited. In addition to opening a foreign country for the country of Wano, his goal now has one more goal. How exciting. Don't worry, brother Kong Zhan, we can definitely do it. Yuri also laughed. She has worked hard. From the beginning she knew nothing, but now she has extremely high attainments in physical skills. She is no longer the little girl she was before, and all this happened in just a few weeks. The progress has been rapid. When Mikasa heard Kong Zhan's ambition, she couldn't help but smile, and then murmured, as expected of Kong Zhan brother is invincible. Raphalia's eyes were shining at the side. Amazed. Conquer the Sea. Master is really cool, she thought to herself, her tail wagging non-stop. As expected of the man I have fallen in love with. Seko, who had her hair tied in a high ponytail and was soaked with sweat from practicing, also showed an expression that said, as expected of me, he is my man. It's really amazing. Lishi marveled. When I met such a guy, I actually thought about running away before. Area sighed. Big brother is getting more and more powerful. Maginot felt as if he had been on some outrageous pirate ship. I vaguely felt that I might not be able to go back. But she doesn't care now. She likes this kind of adventure very much. She has become much stronger now and can help them. Sure enough, only people like Brother Kong Zhan can have such a great idea. Robin thought. This guy is extraordinary. That's right. After all, how can a guy with magic be ordinary? By the way, these crew members are also very strong. Kana thought. He looked at Kong Zhan and then at the crew members around him. Everyone has their own ideas, but everyone respects Kong Zhan. No matter in terms of thoughts or strength, Kong Zhan is nothing more than the most advanced existence among them. But that's right. How else could I be a captain? All the girls laughed in unison. So, you have no objections, right? When Kong Zhan saw the smiles of the girls, he also looked at each other and smiled. No, the girls shouted in unison. The attitude is good. Kong Zhan touched his chin, very satisfied with them. Then, he took out several glass bottles. Hold it between each finger. Use your fingernail to scratch your wrist. Shwa. Blood flowed out. Brother Kong Zhan, master, brother. All of a sudden, all the girls exclaimed. I don't understand what Kong Zhan is doing. But he did not stop filling the glass bottles one by one. Then he threw it to everyone present, and they quickly caught it. Some people seemed a little at a loss. Drink it. My blood can make you stronger. Kong Zhan smiled lightly and spoke to them. Hey, Yamato was the first to be surprised. Blood can make us stronger? Brother Kong Zhan, didn't you lie to me? Yuri was a little curious. But after all, it is human blood, so there will still be some resistance. Kong Zhan won't lie to you. Xizi smiled. He drank it in one gulp without hesitation. For a moment, Seko seemed to be a little stronger. Kong Zhan touched his chin. He looked at Seko and drank blood twice. His connection with Seko seemed to be closer. Was it an upgrade? It should be at the bottom of the string. The girls also noticed the change in Seko, a change in her breath and aura. Then came Lishi. She couldn't hold it any longer. Even if blood relatives are poisonous, she will definitely drink it. Delicious. So delicious. The blood entered her mouth. For her, this taste could no longer be described in words. Lishi held his face. His face flushed. All the girls looked at each other a few times. Then they all drank in turn. As expected, all of them had a surge of power coming out of their bodies. It's amazing. Yamato was surprised. It's true. It's amazing. Yuri was also amazed at the power of this blood. All the girls are feeling the changes in their bodies. They don't understand why some blood can double their strength. But there is no need to understand. Their admiration for Kong Zhan increased. Okay, then let's practice hard. Drink my blood, and your recovery will reach a very strong level. You can just start practicing. Kong Zhan spoke to the girls again before he finished speaking. They were all in high spirits. Both eyes became serious. Understood. Chapter 95. 1 year flies by. I don't know how much time passed. In Area 12 of the Shampoo Islands, White snowflakes fell, just like snow elves dancing in the sky. Very beautiful. The ground and trees are all white, and they all wore thick clothes. Seko caught a snowflake with her hand, but in her warm hands. The beauty of that snowflake only lasted for a moment. The next second, it turned into a small drop of water. Yari breathed out, and it instantly turned into white mist. 1 year has passed in the blink of an eye. Kong Zhan sighed with emotion. Yes, it's already a year later. Time passes very quickly. Because it snowed today, they also took a rare break. Philo didn't know when he had turned into a human form. In fact, she only successfully transformed into a human being with the help of Kong Zhan. Kong Zhan felt that she was growing too slowly. I directly bought a transformation potion and added it to her rice, and she successfully transformed. As for the appearance, it was similar to the original work. Little blonde angel, so cute. Raftalia has also grown up a lot, and now she looks like she is 15 years old. But her actual age is only 10.5 years old. She is still having a snowball fight with Philo, Yamato, Maginot, and Area below. Area originally didn't want to go, but Yamato pulled her over. Originally, she wanted to struggle and return to the boat to smash it. But then Philo accidentally threw a snowball in her face, and the consequences were out of control. Philo. Big stupid bird. Area started to output like crazy. However, a few days after Philo transformed, she also drank Kong Zhan's blood, so she was not weak. However, Kong Zhan has not given them the ability yet. Now the only blood relative who has been given the ability is Seko. After all, it's not necessary yet. I'm sorry, Sister Area. Philo quickly dodged. She was just playing throwing snowballs with Raftalia, but Raftalia dodged past her, and naturally hit Area behind her. That's all. She runs away, she chases. She can't fly without wings. Group chat. Kong Zhan, everyone, would you like to report the situation? Miyano Shiho, boss, we have just successfully occupied the United States, and we have basically completed our rule over half of the world. Dakagi sire, so awesome. For the time being, I just fully armed Sura country and eliminated all the zombies inside. Sire Dakagi, it is stabilized for the time being. I am the leader of Sura country for the time being. We plan to go abroad during this period. Butterfly Ninja, everything is stable for the time being. Kanki-ken, boss, I recently heard that the Bronze Tree attacked the ghoul prison. Since Kanki-ken didn't become a half ghoul and didn't join the Bronze Tree, did he just hear about it? Izumi Shinichi, it's over. The parasitic beast, but Saitumi seems to want to see you. Izumi Shinichi has some helpless. Every time his behavior was too strange, he was asked by Saitumi. Later, Izumi Shinichi couldn't stand it anymore. After all, he couldn't tell anything about the chat group. There is also the matter of Xiao. If I tell Saitumi, I will probably be killed by Xiao, which makes Izumi Shinichi even more afraid to say it. But one time when Izumi Shinichi was chatting with Xiao about the boss, Saitumi didn't expect that she heard it from behind. But because Izumi Shinichi's back was turned to her, she didn't see Xiao and thought that Izumi Shinichi was talking to himself. Talk to yourself. She was very surprised by Izumi Shinichi, the boss, and then Saitumi rushed out and said she wanted to see the boss. This wave made Izumi Shinichi's scalp numb. Kong Zhan is also speechless at this moment. How can he find himself? Kong Zhan, you can't handle her? Izumi Shinichi, it's really troublesome. I don't know what to do. Kong Zhan, I will come back later. Kong Zhan, how are you doing there? Red Eyes, a new empire has been established, and with your help, Black Eyes and the Seiyu girl have also recovered. Red Eyes, and now that the boss has crushed the empire and the revolutionary army with its absolute strength, and has become the supreme ruler of the new era, Esteeth is also locked with the thing you gave called slavery chain. Red Eyes, Brother Kong Zhan can come and take Esteeth away if needed. After all, he is a powerful character, so he should be of some use. Kong Zhan, not bad, I will take it away later. Kong Zhan smiled. Kaitong and the others were still very capable. No Fumi Iwatani, pushing all the way. If you have gold coins, you will have slaves. I bought a bunch of slaves with extremely high combat effectiveness and formed a slave army. Boss, it's really cool. No Fumi Iwatani, the slave traders' supply of slaves exceeds demand. Really? Kong Zhan, 6, promising. Brother Shangwin is quite promising. All the goods for the slave traders have been eaten. Kong Zhan, Ed Hinata, has Xiao Hinata been bullied? Hinata, no one has bullied me recently. Thank you, Brother Kong Zhan. Kong Zhan, that's good, because in the past 6 months, Hinata has been bullied a lot. Chatted with them a little. Learn about their current situation. Kong Zhan also nodded with satisfaction. The group members got rich together and it was very successful. By the way, there is also Toshan Hong, who seems to have almost never appeared. Don't you want to join the group? Never mind. The fox demon has such a long lifespan. Something will always happen. Private chat. Chat group assistant. Wall Maria has been breached. Kong Zhan was confused. Wall of Maria. Oh, isn't this something you set before? He suddenly remembered. It seems that I have set up the chat group assistant to prompt me before. Kong Zhan turned to look at Mikasa aside. Mikasa, Let's go back to your world. There happens to be a good show in the city. Kong Zhan laughed. A good show? Mikasa was a little confused, but still nodded. Then let's go together. Kong Zhan looked at Yamato, and was about to explain that he had left the problems on the ship to her when he left, but he saw her still having a snowball fight. This deputy captain is looking very cool today. Forget it, let her have fun. Then he looked at Hiyari again. Hiyari-chan, I need to leave with Mikasa for a while, and I'll leave the problems on the ship to you. Kong Zhan said with a smile, walked forward and lightly touched her head, giving her a head scratch. Huh? Brother Kong Zhan and Mikasa. Hiyari looked at the two of them gossiping and covered her mouth. Could it be a date? She looked surprised. Seko on the side also looked over. There was a lot of jealousy in his eyes. Next to him, Li Shi and Kana also looked at Kong Zhan with interest. Hey, date or something? Mikasa's face turned red. Is that so? Is that so? It turns out that brother Kong Zhan wants to date me, so that's it. Don't think nonsense. I have serious matters. Kong Zhan rolled his eyes at them. That's it. Xiang Tsai still believed Kong Zhan's words. Since it is said that there is a serious matter, it must be a serious matter. Mikasa, let's go. Kong Zhan picked up Mikasa and walked outside. Hey, Mikasa quickly followed. The two jumped off the boat. It wasn't until we got a little further that we started crossing. Chapter 96 Wall of Maria. Kong Zhan and Mikasa stood on the wall of Maria, and underneath it was a mess. The super-large giant kicked open the outer door. The armored giant had already broken through the inner door, and countless unsullied giants entered the wall and gnawed on humans. Mikasa, let's practice with these guys. How? Kong Zhan asked with a smile. If brother Kong Zhan says so, then do it. Mikasa became a little more serious. Black armor suddenly appeared all over his body. Except for the guy with the armor, the rest are secondary. Kong Zhan pointed to the 15-meter-tall armored giant and spoke calmly. I understand. Just take it from me. Mikasa nodded lightly. It turned into a shadow and rushed straight up, and Kong Zhan turned his head again and looked at the supergiant. He was gone. It looks like that guy is ready to evacuate. In this case, let's keep the armored giant for now. I remember it's called Reina, right? Party A. Kong Zhan sat down and looked over indifferently. Although the armored giant ran very fast, Shadow moved even faster. Mikasa turned into a shadow and passed over several houses. Along the way, he killed many giants. Even those who fled were confused. Seeing that a member of the city wall cult was almost eaten by a giant, Mikasa had to chop off the giant's head directly. The human fell directly to the ground, not caring about the pain in his body. God. The god of the city wall must have appeared. The human was filled with wonder. He actually thought that the city wall saved him. Kong Zhan's eyes twitched. Although it was far away, he could still see it. These days, there is really all kinds of junk. Why would Mikasa save such a person? Forget it. At this moment, Mikasa was still moving towards the armored titan, and soon she was at his feet. Mikasa's black gauntlet turned into a sharp blade and rushed forward. A terrifying dark aura emanated. An acceleration. Wah! The 15-meter giant's calf was cut off directly. Boom! The armored giant lost his balance and fell directly. He was confused. What just happened? He quickly covered the back of his neck, and Mikasa also noticed the back of his neck that he was covering. It would be okay if he didn't cover it, but since he did, Mikasa decided to go take a look. He stepped directly on the back of the giant's fallen body, cut off the back of his hand and his neck. Shua! The penetrating power of Shadow is no joke to you. One knife strike, let alone his two hands. The neck was cut off directly from the waist. At this time, Mikasa just noticed. Huh? Is there thing in the neck a human? So this is the structure? Mikasa looked surprised. But Reina in the nape of his neck had been cut in two. This is just a matter of a moment. The other party didn't even react. Seeing that the battle ended so easily, Kong Zhan also lost interest. He stood up and jumped off the city wall. He walked over calmly. As for the giants around them, they also gathered around. Some want to catch him, but completely untouchable, because their distance is infinite. Then, Kong Zhan directly shook it away. Fearless giants rushed up one after another, but to no avail. Only the sound of boom, boom, boom was heard as the giant was blown away. Ah, ha! Kong Zhan was so bored that he even yawned. All this was seen by the surrounding garrison troops. They were all confused. That guy in black armor and that man. Who are they? They swallowed Gulu. As human beings, they have never seen a human being so powerful. Extremely terrifying. Countless giants took action against him, but failed to injure him at all. They even killed him directly, showing such a lazy look. The other one fought through thorns and thorns, fought crazily, and killed the terrifying armored giant. Horrible. Too scary. These two are simply not human. It's a monster. Everyone in the garrison swallowed their saliva. They couldn't even imagine the strength of this guy. Kong Zhan turned his head slightly, looked at the outer door kicked open by the supergiant, and saw the giants still pouring in, and grinned. At this time, an innocent giant rushed over from the side. Kong Zhan jumped directly into the air. He kicked his body hard with his right foot and kicked him to the broken outer door. Boom! The terrifying power defeated countless giants pouring in from the outer door and knocked them out of the city wall. Perfect goal. Kong Zhan smiled, and Mikasa also returned to Kong Zhan's side at this moment. The surrounding giants have almost been cleared away. Mikasa, bring me a big rock. The giants committed a foul. It's time for a penalty kick. Kong Zhan looked at the giants who were about to pour in, his eyes full of teasing, and then said to Mikasa next to him, "Stone." Mikasa thought. Then he squatted down and touched the ground with his hands. Under the surface, a terrifying dark atmosphere poured in. Boom. A loud noise. The suffocating scene once again appeared in the eyes of humans. I saw a huge black arm dragging a huge boulder out of the ground. Outrageous. So outrageous. Okay. Kong Zhan became excited and shook his legs a little. Then let's watch my home run. Drink. With a shout, Kong Zhan rushed forward. Bang. He kicked the huge stone towards the damaged outer door. Wah. The stone moved extremely fast, producing a sound of tearing through the air. Connected to the ground, a concave half-cylinder trace was drawn. Several giants were also hit along the way. They flew over together. Boom. There was another violent noise. Almost the entire city wall shook. The boulder firmly blocked the outer door. Hey, what is going on? Are they really humans? No, I don't know. In short, the entrance to the cave is blocked. It's a victory for humans. Moment. The people stationed in the core became excited. Let's go. Kong Zhan turned to look at Mikasa. I understand, brother Kong Zhan. Mikasa followed Kong Zhan like this. Jumped directly out of the city wall. You know, this city wall is 50 meters high. The people stationed in the core were dumbfounded. Could it be? Are these the humans outside the city wall? Then, Kong Zhan and Mikasa came to the tombs of Mikasa's parents. A year later, this is still a forest. Looking at my parents' tombstones. Mikasa was a little disappointed. Mikasa, actually, your parents are not dead. Kong Zhan leaned slightly against the tree and spoke softly. Huh? Mikasa looked at Kong Zhan with some confusion. Because your parents existed in history. So according to time theory, as long as you go back to the past, your parents existed. According to space theory, there are countless parallel time and spaces in the world. These time and space are because each time you make different choices, there are almost infinite ones. So, your parents also exist in other time and space. From a normal perspective, they may be dead, but from a normal perspective, from another perspective, there is no death. They have just gone through reincarnation in this world. It does not mean that they have disappeared. It can only be said that it will be more troublesome to find them, Kong Zhan said while touching his chin. After all, this is a magical world with endless possibilities. Die? That's not necessarily death, and it can't be viewed with a narrow worldview. Listening to Kong Zhan's incomprehensible words, Mikasa also started to think. Although he didn't understand, he understood that this was Kong Zhan comforting her. But for my parents, 1 year has passed. Although they still feel unspeakable discomfort, they are much better. Chapter 97 Slave Auction. I know, brother Kong Zhan. I'm much better now. Although she didn't quite understand what Kong Zhan meant, Mikasa also understood that the other party was caring about her, and she chuckled. Then he stood up. That's good. Kong Zhan put his hands in his pockets. Looking at the sun today, it is very sunny. Let's go back. Brother Kong Zhan. Mikasa turned to look at Kong Zhan. The tone was somewhat hopeful. Let's go. Kong Zhan also narrowed his eyes slightly. Mikasa, this little guy, is so cute. He had always thought so. The two returned to the ship. A year has passed. There are more and more heads of these pirates around. The number of pirates in Outlaw Land has been reduced by 2/3. All of them were used to practice their skills. Calculate the time. It's almost time. Finally we can do the mission. Xiaoling, locate Boya Hancock's location. Kong Zhan said directly. Xiaoling can track people through huge computing power and detection capabilities. This aspect is indeed better than task tracking. Task tracking only gives one direction. Small Zero can basically give a specific location. Master, this is the auction in Area 1. Xiaoling reminded. Is it an auction? Kong Zhan touched his chin. Then he turned to look at Yamato. As a result, he was still playing in the snow. Hey, Yamato, call a team together. There are things to do. Kong Zhan shouted to her. I understand, boss. Yamato heard. He didn't complain, but responded immediately, and the members of the first team also appeared consciously. Seko, Rise and Kana. It seems they are all here. We are going to an auction today. Kong Zhan looked at the people around him with a smile and spoke. Auction? What are you going there for? Seko was a little confused. Well, in short, let me save a few people. People who will be useful in the future. Kong Zhan said mysteriously. In the future? Useful person? Li Shi and Kana were also very confused. Let's go. Just go shopping. Kong Zhan stretched and jumped directly from the boat. He turned slightly and spoke to the women behind him. That's all. The 4 girls followed behind Kong Zhan. Auction. A slave auction to be exact. All kinds of big families, wealthy businessmen, adventurers and even celestial dragons are here. And there are several people in Kong Zhan. He also walked in quietly. Brother Kong Zhan, there are so many people. Yamato muttered quietly as he saw that the seats were already occupied. What the hell is this place? Kana clenched the magic wand in his hand. A little nervous. Is it an auction? Is that a person? Seko frowned. He looked at the human being tied to the iron ring on the stage. Is this a place where slaves are traded? Li Shi nodded and asked curiously. She had some knowledge of this kind of place in the past. After all, there were places where ghouls sold humans as food. Yes, this is the slave auction, a place for human trafficking. The people we want to rescue this time are the three sisters of Daughter Island, Kong Zhan said calmly. But because the scene was very noisy, his voice was not loud, so only the four of them heard it. The host at the moment was wearing a white top hat, tall and thin, and holding a microphone in his hand. The first slave to appear is the Long-Arm tribe. Welcome all guests to the slave auction. Today I will introduce to you the first slave, a pirate with a bounty of 10 million Baileys, and a Long-Arm tribe. I think everyone wants a pirate for me. Be your own bodyguard. If a pirate with a bounty of 10 million Bailey becomes a bodyguard, everyone will feel safe. Although he wants 10 million Bailey, our starting price is only 5 million Bailey. Okay, let the bidding begin. After the host's passionate speech, it was their auction moment. 5.5 million Baileys. I will offer 7 million Baileys. I will offer 8 million Baileys. That's it. One after another. It was finally set at 12 million. She is an old lady in her 70s. Okay, 12 million once, 12 million twice, 12 million three times. Congratulations to this wealthy businessman on acquiring a long-armed pirate slave. The host immediately shouted excitedly. Then he waved, signaling another slave to come up and continue the auction. That's all. One slave after another was replaced on stage. Tens of minutes passed. 3 girls were replaced on stage. Kong Zhan took a closer look, with an imperceptible smile on his lips. This is our 6th item today. There are 3 in total. They are girls from Daughter's Island. We took a lot of trouble to get these from the Kuji pirates. Is there any one of them? Does the distinguished guest want it? The starting price is 2 million Bailey for 3 people. Seeing the 3 pretty girls, some businessmen showed blue looks on their faces. Kong Zhan, do you want to come? Seiko held the Uo in his hand and looked at the 3 sisters tied by the iron ring in front of him. Yamato also took out the cold sword in his hand. Li Shi hugged her chest tightly, but she was always ready. Kana is the most nervous. After all, there are many people around, and she is the weakest among them. Although she has learned the weapon color and the knowledge color after 1 year, she is only a beginner, and her talent in this area is not obvious. After all, she is just an ordinary human girl. After training, Yamato has reached the advanced level of armed color and knowledge color, and the overlord color has reached the intermediate level. Seiko is a high-level warrior and an intermediate-level warrior. It may be because she drank Kong Zhan's blood that her physical abilities improved very quickly. Rishi's weapon color and knowledge color are both intermediate, which is pretty good. What's the hurry? Kong Zhan looked calm and composed. It's not good to be too anxious. I offer 3 million, 5 million, 8 million. The rich people shouted one by one. 100 million. Suddenly, a person shouted. That's the guy with the bubble hood. Yes, it is the Tianlong people, wearing dark sunglasses and a pair of small black beards. He is Roswader Saint, the father of the celestial dragon who was beaten away by Luffy in the original work. Heaven. The heavenly dragon has spoken. Suddenly, the whole place fell silent. Some people may have enough financial resources, but they will give face to the Tianlong people. No more price increases. After all, this is the world's noble celestial dragon. The status is the highest noble in the world. 100 million times. Twice 100 million. The 3 sisters looked frightened and uneasy at this moment. Do they really want to confess here? 100 million. The host just finished speaking. Kong Zhan grinned and said loudly, Hey, are you a bunch of cowards, or are you a bunch of poor people? I'll offer 1 billion. Kong Zhan walked forward, followed closely by 4 beauties. 1 billion. 1 billion. Chapter 98. Tianlong people. Cut off your descendants and legs. Even the host never expected that someone would snatch things from the Tianlong people. Is there anyone else who wants to increase the price? The host naturally wanted to ask the Tianlong people, and Saint Roswader also glanced at Kong Zhan. He didn't expect this guy to compete with him, but he was extremely confident in his financial resources. 2 billion. Saint Roswader spoke again. For 3 girls. Just 2 billion? Gulu. Such arrogance also made the wealthy businessmen around him swallow their saliva, as expected of a Tianlong. Now that boy should. Just when everyone thought Kong Zhan had given up. 20 billion. Kong Zhan smiled softly, as if bathing in the spring breeze. The calm voice spread throughout the audience. Huh? In an instant, the whole audience was shocked. Are you kidding? 3 girls can actually be auctioned for a high price of 20 billion. You know, even 10 female mermaids don't have such a high price. This time, Roswader gritted his teeth and stood up directly, looking at Kong Zhan fiercely. Kong Zhan, on the other hand, returned a provocative look, looking like he had the guts to continue increasing the price. 30 billion. Saint Roswader roared angrily and ought not to lose face. 3.30 billion. Even the host was dumbfounded. Slaves of this price rarely come up for sale at auction. And it's still human. Then, I'll take 300 billion. Kong Zhan said as if he didn't care. This year, he spent 50,000 points to upgrade the Law of Destruction. I used a little bit of other bits and pieces. There are almost more than 100,000 points left. According to the exchange rate of 1 point equals 100 million. More than enough. What? How is it possible? Just a commoner. How can it be possible to have so much money? Saint Roswader shouted directly. It's not like he doesn't have 300 billion bli. But if he uses it to buy 3 ordinary female slaves, it would be a huge loss. And with so many Baileys, it is difficult for even some big countries to get hold of them. How could anyone except the Tianlong people or the Golden City be able to get so many Baileys? There is only one possibility. The other party does not have so much money at all. Sir, please show me your financial resources first. The host also felt the seriousness of the matter. Many people also looked over. The looks from these people made Kana feel a little uncomfortable. Kong Zhan slowly walked forward again. He didn't stop until he reached the stage. The 4 girls did not dare to slack off and followed Kong Zhan. He glanced at the 3 Hancock sisters, and then turned to look at everyone sitting there. Financial resources? Then let's see. Kong Zhan waved his hand. Mountains of bags of Bailey suddenly appeared. Bailey, who was like a mountain, made everyone sitting on the stage dumbfounded. How did this happen? There are so many Baileys. It's too exaggerated. The noisy voice spread to the entire audience again. Arsehole. How is that possible? No matter what, I will take down these 3 female slaves today. Saint Roswader spoke angrily. In an instant, the guards seemed to hear the Tianlong people's anger and rushed in from the door. In that case, it's exactly what I want. Kong Zhan smiled even more cheerfully, without any fear at all. And the 4 girls were ready early. Damn it. Catch him. I want him and his women to become my slaves. Saint Roswader immediately ordered to the exclusive guards. Brother Kong Zhan, leave these guards to us, Yamato said, taking the lead to move forward, and Seko and Rise followed closely. Hey, wait for me. Before Kana could react, he immediately followed the 3 of them. As for Kong Zhan, he slowly walked towards Roswad Saint. Hey, what does he want to do? Does he want to resist the Tianlong people? This will attract CP0. Some people who knew the inside story started discussing. This is why they don't dare to mess with the celestial dragons. Kong Zhan put his hand on the back of his neck, twisted his neck slightly, and made a creak sound. He walked directly in front of Saint Roswader. The guards were easily stopped by the 4 women. Simply vulnerable. What are you going to do? I am a celestial dragon. Saint Roswader was not afraid at all, but looked directly at the man in front of him. As a Tianlong, he doesn't believe what others will do to him, or believes in what others dare to do to him. But Kong Zhan was already prepared. Dragon people? Just some useless descendants. He chuckled. Then, his right leg began to accumulate strength. Swish. In an instant, he kicked Saint Roswader directly in the crotch. A dog dragon man cut off the legs of his descendants with one blow. Saint Roswader's eyes almost popped out of his head, and he was kicked upwards by Kong Zhan. Boom. The Tianlong man crashed through the ceiling, flying hundreds of meters high, then disappeared. Are you? What a joke. He beat the celestial dragons. The admiral is coming. Run, run. The guests who originally wanted to watch the show were like a river. It came out in a rush. After all, there is such a thing as beating the celestial dragons. But it will attract an admiral. They don't want to be accidentally injured. Yamato and the others have also eliminated those guards. These guards are not CP0, they are small at best. Kong Zhan walked to the stage, looked at the iron rings around the necks of the 3 Hancock sisters, took them off instantly, and threw them aside. Rumble, rumble. There were 3 sounds at once. Let's go, I'll take you back to Daughter's Island. Kong Zhan looked at Hancock and pulled her up. Hey, why are you helping us? Hancock was a little confused, but Kong Zhan's words really made the 3 of them relax from their tension. Why, I don't know. It's just out of interest. Kong Zhan smiled, and then continued, don't ask so many questions, just come with me first. He finished. Seiko, who was ready to evacuate at any moment at the door, turned around and shouted, Kong Zhan, hurry up. There seemed to be a lot of navy around. Okay. Kong Zhan nodded. Don't worry, Brother Kong Zhan, let us open the way. Yamato rushed forward first. And this time, the Tianlong talent fell down with a bang. It has changed beyond recognition, covered in blood. But they didn't have time to pay attention. They just glanced at the 3 Hancock sisters. Sister, let's go quickly. Hancock's sister, green-haired Sandason ear said. Yes, please. Hancock also asked Kong Zhan seriously. Let's go. Kong Zhan didn't bother. He ran forward directly, but for the sake of the 3 of them, he didn't run too fast. Seko and Yamato lead the way. Rise and Kana play support. Perfect cooperation. After a year of polishing, the first team has become a very strong combination. It is easy to escape from these naval encirclement nets. Chapter 99. 3 sisters returned to the island after getting rid of the navy. Kong Zhan took the girls to Xiaqi's rip-off bar. You must know that Xiaqi was the former king of Numa Island. Naturally, I want her to help in this regard. This is also the reason why I didn't want to have a bad relationship with this person before. Looking at the bar at the root of the giant tree, It was obvious that we were almost there. Kong Zhan turned to look at Hancock. If you want to go back, you have to do one more thing, he said to Hancock seriously. Gulu. Hancock swallowed nervously and asked, please tell me. As a child, Hancock was obviously not as arrogant and domineering as he grew up, and her two sisters were also very nervous. Kong Zhan chuckled. He bit his finger, took out the glass bottle, and started filling the blood again. I drank half the bottle. Passed it to Hancock. Drink it, and I'll let you three go back safely, Kong Zhan said naturally. But this move made the four women around them slightly surprised. They know what this means. This means that Kong Zhan is very fond of this girl and has a chance of becoming one of their subordinates in the future. Blood. Hancock was a little confused. Although drinking other people's blood will cause some discomfort. Sister. Obviously, her two younger sisters were also worried about her. It's okay. We can go back right away. Hancock comforted his sisters. She gritted her teeth and swallowed the blood directly. The blood was not as unpleasant to drink as she had imagined, which made her sigh in relief. But she felt that she had a powerful force. Let's go. Seeing Hancock drink, Kong Zhan didn't care about anything else. At least this way Hancock is within his control, and then just let her become the king of Daughters Island just like the original work. Speaking of which, she didn't eat the sweet fruit. But that's okay. After all, the blood relative once used something that gave him 3,000 points in the system mall. System remodeled a version sweet fruit introduction. If you are attracted by its beauty, it will be petrified. Unless the user does not want it to be petrified, the user who is not attracted can also actively petrify it, and non-living things can also be petrified. At the same time, you can control the petrified person and turn it into a stone soldier. If the petrified person has abilities, you can also use your own abilities, or fuse stone soldiers with stone soldiers to become a big stone soldier, and by analogy, the strength will be geometrically multiplied. This fruit has no side effects. Kong Zhan read the introduction, and it seemed that the Empress would be much more capable in the future than in the original work, but he didn't think much about it and directly gave the ability to the other party. Hancock suddenly felt this energy, and she also felt an inexplicable connection with Kong Zhan. This power also followed this connection, which was very magical. She didn't understand, and she was also unsure what was going on. Her head was still a little slow. But they were already in the bar. Oh, there are so many people today. Long time no see. Xiao Zanzin. Xiachi, who was reading the newspaper at the bar, chuckled when she saw the visitor. Kong Zhan, I've wanted to see you for a long time. Riley was sitting on the sofa drinking wine and looked at Kong Zhan curiously. He slowly placed the wine glass in his hand on the table. I have a favor to ask of you today. Kong Zhan spoke first. The main reason is that he doesn't want to affect Nervjima for the time being. Otherwise he would definitely go there. For the time being, he still has to ask Xiachi to help contact Nervjima and send them back as in the original work. Oh, what's the matter? You still need to ask us for help. Riley was also very curious. At this moment, he has some grey hair. After Roger died, he became much older. They are girls from the Daughters Island and were sold as slaves. Today I want you to send the three of them back to the Daughters Island. Thank you, Li and Xiachi. Kong Zhan looked at the two of them and said, Girl Island. Hey, I really can't help it. If it was another island, I might have refused. Didn't you expect it to be Numa Island? Xiachi sighed. After all, he had been the king of Daughters Island, so he couldn't ignore this matter. That's all for the sake of giving me 500 million Baileys in wine money. I will also help, don't worry. Riley nodded, not caring. By the way, because I beat the Tianlong people, there will be riots, so you should be careful. Kong Zhan reminded them. What? Hit the Tianlong people? I thought you were just talking. You really don't take the Tianlong people seriously. Xiachi was slightly surprised. Oh, nowadays, the juniors are getting more and more powerful. Rayleigh sighed with appreciation. Well, if you're lucky, you should still be alive. Wait. If I gave him a blow and cut off his descendants, then his descendants wouldn't be gone, right? What will Luffy do next? Kong Zhan suddenly remembered that Luffy would have to fight in the future. Forget it. It's none of my business. You're lucky. Still alive? How cruel are you? Xiachi started to feel. Listening to Kong Zhan's words, the attack should not be easy. Ha 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 ha. Young and promising. Riley laughed. Then don't bother me anymore. Let's go first. If the Navy steals my ship, I'll have to beat them up. Kong Zhan said and waved his hand. Okay, since you guys have something to do, I won't keep you here. Let's talk next time when we have time. Lee chuckled and nodded, motioning for Kong Zhan to go and get busy. Let's go. Kong Zhan looked at the four women. Although he had gotten rid of the Navy, he was not sure whether he would conduct a blanket search and then steal the house. We still have to get to the boat quickly. Now that they have arrived at Area 13, their ship is naturally not far away and is parked nearby. Originally this area was just called the Pirates Forbidden Zone, but a year later, it has now become the Death Forbidden Zone because this area is almost full of skulls, and even the dry pirate skulls and bones under the feet are densely packed, but they are hidden by the snow and cannot be seen. If you clear away the snow, you will find that the entire ground is made of bones. It exudes an extremely strong aura of death, making people feel fearful every time they step into this area. This place, in the Lawless Zone, is also the place that the Navy is least willing to come to. Kong Zhan and the others had already walked leisurely to the side of the boat. Brother Kong Zhan, you're back, Yeri said in surprise. Yes, we're back. A few people jumped a little and got on the boat. Even though they can get on the ship in just one jump, this ship is very huge. You have to jump 60 meters high to get on the ship. To be honest, the whole ship is as big as an aircraft carrier. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked Xiaoling to take them up. Otherwise, I would have to take the stairs down. In comparison, it would be much easier to let Xiaoling take them up. After all, it's really too high. Chapter 100 The Forbidden Zone of Death in the Lawless Land. The next day, because the Admiral came and asked for time, he directly sent Kizaru, a user with the Shining Fruit ability, to capture the man. After all, Kizaru was also a general candidate at the moment, and he would come much faster. If Sengoku and the others were allowed to come over, it would take a long time. Lieutenant General Kizaru, all illegal areas have been searched, and only the rumored forbidden area of death is left. The Navy said seriously to the tall man with a wretched face in front of him. Is that the only place left? It's really scary. But there's nothing we can do. It's almost dinner time. Let's go take a look. If not, just tell Marshal Kong that they already ran away. Kizaru looked at the watch on his wrist. I touched my stomach and felt hungry. At first glance, there were hundreds of naval soldiers behind him, not including those who were searching the Shampoo Islands. Yes, the Navy responded immediately. Then, hundreds of Marines followed Kizaru to the restricted area of Area 13. The Death Forbidden Area. I don't know where to start. The ground is covered with snow all the way. The footprints gradually become smaller than outside, but some relatively new footprints can still be seen. Creak. A Navy man wearing glasses seemed to have stepped on something under the snow. It felt a bit hard based on the feel of his feet, which made him a little curious. He squatted down and turned over the snow under his feet. What is it? The bespectacled Marine seemed to have touched something. There are some black hairs on it. Then he took out the thing. Ugh! The bespectacled Marine was startled and threw the thing in his hand aside. It was a head. It looked like it had been a long time ago. This scene was also seen by the Navy next to it. Gulu. Is this the forbidden area of death? The Navy on the side also exclaimed. Hey, have you ever felt something hard under the soles of your feet as you walked along? A Navy man with wheat-colored skin had an ugly face. What do you mean? His words gave everyone a bad feeling. What I mean is, in the snowdrifts under our feet. It seems to be full of these heads. He spoke again. Such words made them descend to another level under the ice and snow. The temperature. Wait a minute. This head seems to belong to a pirate. A man walked forward boldly and took out the wanted posters in his bag. Rummaging around. Finally, it stopped at a wanted poster, and then they kept comparing it. That's right. This guy is a pirate with a bounty of 100 million. The one with the sea lion fruit. Wasaru Asal. Looking at the somewhat shriveled head on the ground, his eyes even trembled. What I casually took out from under my feet were the heads of hundreds of millions of pirates. What are these heads? The Navy was instantly frightened. It seems that this forbidden area of death is well deserved. It's really scary. Kizaru appeared beside them at some point. Let's keep walking. We'll soon know what kind of guy is inside, Kizaru said casually, without the slightest fear. The rest of the Navy also immediately adjusted their status and began to prepare to continue their advance. Diddy. Warning, someone has invaded within 5 kilometers of the ship. Xiaoling suddenly sounded the alarm. Talk. This alarm was also set by Kong Zhan because he was attacked by a pirate group at night for revenge. As a result, the enemy did not break Xiao Zero's defense barrier until daylight. Don't let them come and find excuses if they can't fight. I've been digging the boat all night. I'm exhausted. Despicable villain. Attack me while I'm exhausted. And the like. Shameless. He came over to attack at night, but he couldn't beat him and said he was shameless. At that time, all of them were stunned. Everyone, get ready for battle. Kong Zhan came out of the cabin. He stretched lazily. Yes, understood. Okay. Everyone responded piecemeal. Then they all slowly gathered on the boat. Hey, Xiaoling. Who's here? Kong Zhan asked. Lieutenant General Kizaru, Peluslino, male, 39 years old, user of Shining Fruit ability, weak point Sea Tower Stone, and 500 elite Navy soldiers. Xiaoling said directly to Kong Zhan without any ink marks. You all heard it. Behind Kong Zhan, all members of the Dragon Slayer pirates have officially assembled. Yes, from now on, they are ready to officially name the pirate group. Just to target the Navy? No. Against world government? No. But for the Tianlong people. So, the world's nobility. What is the difference between this kind of guy and casually squeezing an ant to death? Well, Brother Kong Zhan, what should we do? Listen to your orders. We are ready at any time. Everyone looked serious. There are only so many people. The Navy really looks down on us. Kong Zhan curled his lips, and then said, Yamato, Yeri, and Mikasa. You 3 captains, set an example. Go up and do it. Come on. He waved his hand casually. Okay, leave it to us. Brother Kong Zhan, Yamato said excitedly. No problem. Brother Kong Zhan. Mikasa also nodded lightly. It's easy. Xiao Hai laughed. Give me the strongest one this time. Don't fight with me. Yamato looked at Mikasa and Yuri seriously. Every time Kong Zhan is around, they fought with each other. Really are. Then I'll give it to you. A little bit the stingy Yamato. Yuri curled her lips and made a face. If you can't beat him, I'll help you, Mikasa said calmly. HMPH. There's no way I can't beat you. Yamato put his hands on his hips and straightened out his chest, which had been ordinary even that year. It's said that the world of pirates seems to be developing slowly. Obviously when I grow up, I remember it being quite big. Robin is now 11 years old. Mikasa, who is not yet 10 years old, looks older. Kong Zhan thought silently. No, the war is about to begin. What are you thinking about? He was speechless. I really want to give myself 2 big dicks. This happens every day. Yamato, Yuri and Mikasa were ready. Jumped directly off the ship. Stepping on the deep snow, Kong Zhan waved his hand, and a huge sofa appeared, with a long table in front of it, and a lot of delicious food on the long table. Come on, everyone, just wait for the show to begin. Kong Zhan chuckled slightly. As for the Navy, the deeper they go, the more scared they become. Originally there was a head under the feet. Then I found that there were quite a few stuck on both sides of the ground. And when I went deeper, there were still quite a few hanging on the branches. It was numb. This group of Marines expressed that they were really scared. Who are they? They actually killed so many pirates in these lawless areas. Some Navy people were dumbfounded, with hundreds of thousands, tens of millions, hundreds of millions. There are pirates of all sizes. If all these were used in exchange for bounties, it would be worth billions or even tens of billions, right? At this moment, all the navies understood why this place was called the Forbidden Zone of Death in the Lawless Zone.